You are the champ. Believe me, you got more guts than you got sense. Yes! I love it. I am back! Woo!
You win. Perfect.
Trust the Profits. Derby Day. How's it going, guys? Yes, we are here. I'm here right now, joining you from the car. I'm controlling everything from the car. Don't know how that's possible. I'm still wrapping my head around it a little bit here. We got race 3 coming up. Yeah, so what do we like here? We've got, oh geez, keeps going back and forth on me. I'm trying to control what I can here. Race 3 coming up. 2 minutes to post. Who Day right now is the favorite. Opened up at 9-2. Currently sitting at 3-1. Let me drop on over to the comments here. Happy Derby Day, Kyle Graves. Let's go, Ryan Gallivan. Good to see you guys all here. I can see people starting to load up in the lounge right now. The play I like here, maybe it's just me, is John Hancock. I remember this horse from the Derby Trail last year. Was really liking him coming out of that whole Tampa Bay circuit. Early speed, I think a mile is good for him as well. If I do remember right, he was the winner of the the Davis. Which one is that? I'm losing my mind today, guys. He's I want to say the Stephen Davis, but I don't think that's correct. You guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat box there. Embarrassing myself, but anyhow, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, he got second and was probably injured after the Tampa Bay Derby. I like this as a nice little rebound race for him. Optional claimer, seems about right. 134K in the pot. Who else is here? Comport. Early on, liked him on the Derby Trail. Not necessarily for the Derby, but I liked his production, especially at the end of last year. So I do like Comport in here at a number. He's currently giving you 11-1. Jose Ortiz on board. Ed Keneally, the trainer. Yeah, Raul Salazar. Sorry for the Puma. Definitely not liking that the Puma is out as well. He wasn't going to be in my box, but I know a lot of people did have them in the top 3. Some people had him to win too. Liked him as a nice little outside shot there. Like John Hancock coming from Tampa Bay, that whole circuit. So it's unfortunate we don't get to see him. Sam F. Davis. Thank you, Ryan Gallivan. I knew it started with an S. Who else do I like here? Prater. Yeah, it's hard to ignore Prater. Into Mischief, Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt. So I do have a little trifecta box set up with Comport, John Hancock. I'm leaving Who Day off. I've got Prater in there as well. If you guys have a horse you like in this race, go ahead and let us know in the comments. There's definitely some horses we've seen here from Derby Trails past, and Bullard is in there. I remember him from, I want to say, last year at Attaché. Another interesting horse who you're getting a pretty fat price on. He's at what, 40-1 right now? 42-1. Bullard is 20-1. Bullard was a West Coast horse last year, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, Andrew Brunswick, you got the 8. Curtis Stinnett, Tri-Keen the 12 for first and second with the 4, 5, 6, 10. The 12 being Prater. Good luck to you there. I think there's a world where we can both be winners on a ticket like that, because I think you've got both of my horses in there as well. So let's root for that to happen. The 8 horse, that is Racing Driver, opened at 20-1, currently sitting at 14-1. Gustavo Delgado, unfortunately, no Puma for him today. Luan Machado's the jockey. They are loading up, and it looks like they're off now. No one closing in on the rail. Got the rail all to himself is the 1 horse Arrow Smash. Jumping out in front there, John Hancock, the horse that I like, out on the lead as expected. Vibe is carefully close to him. Comport close as well. This would be lining up pretty nicely. My 11 horse, oh sorry, not my 11 horse. The 12 is the one I'm looking for. 11 and 12, also not too far off the 14. Looks like John Hancock and Vibe. 22.79 on a mile. Still pretty quick. hoping to not see a fade here because we want John Hancock and Comport to be staying up there for my trifecta box. Let's see that happen. Still got some pressure on the outside from Vibe at 7-1, the Todd Pletcher, Luis Saez horse. Vibe is given a lot of pressure going into that last turn there. John Hancock holding on, but Vibe is gaining ground on the outside path there. Also coming on the outside, the 14 Bullard. John Velasquez, Michael McCarthy, definitely got some pressure there. There is going to be a mounting surge. Let's see if the pace is going to hold up for John Hancock as he comes out of the turn, sharp turn of foot. Looks like Vibe is in front for right now. Prater is taking over the 12 horse. Vibe still holding on. It looks like Vibe is going to be taking this unless somebody has something deep down that they can reach for, but Vibe is really stretching it out now. So Vibe, and then looks like Prater's going to get passed by the 14 Bullard. So Vibe, the 14 Bullard, and I just missed who the third horse was because I think Prater got set back for fourth, I mean. Whew. All right, Raul Salazar. I will now choose Denon Bourbon. Follow further ado as well. Those are two horses I really like. Good luck to you there, Raul. I think if you win, I win is going to be the case there. All right, anyone got a winner there? Let us know. Todd Pletcher, Luis Saez with Vibes, 7-1, opened up at 6-1. That'd be the 6 horse Who Day who came in for third place. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I didn't catch enough of it out of the corner of my eye to make that full connection there. My 4 horse Comport looking very, very late there, and John Hancock definitely yielded the pace there. Holy cow, he did not handle that well at all. So hopefully you guys have a win there. Someone in the comments section maybe. Should be expecting other people. Well, as I say that, Riders Up Tim in the house.
I would have had a trifecta if that 14 hadn't split me. If you look at my picks I sent out, I was 12, 10, 6.
Oh, you had the 10 in there, huh? Yeah, I was ignoring the 10 a little too much. Yeah.
Keeps me
and I was
alive
trying to
with the
beat
car.
Who Day. They're just some names in there that I liked from years past, and I was trying to beat Who Day. I didn't like the number on him, and I got caught up on that. And that's a dumb thing to do when you're trying to do a trifecta. But I also had John Hancock in there.
Look at us, formula without any coordination. We're matching.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Gray on top of Trust the Profits. Perfect combination for spring. This is the new spring look 2026, if anyone wants to know. Indeed, indeed. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing great. I'm off to a pretty good start. I mean, I did not have race 2, but I had the exacta in race 1 straight, and then had the winner in here, but just missed out on a try.
Yeah. I missed out on a try in race 1. I was going back and forth between 2 longs, the 4 and the 7, and I landed on the 7, and the 4 is the one who came in third. I should have, typical overthinking. Yep. And we should have Sean in here soon too. Yeah, Ryan Gallivan, the spring catalog. I mean, check this out. We're just modeling it, baby. This is the look. This is the look.
This is the fashion. I mean, without even coordinating, we show up in the same outfit. So it must be in vogue.
That tells you something. This is, as they said in Devil Wears Prada, this is your cerulean, right? You didn't know you were wearing it, but we made sure that happened. Okay, I lost half the fans when I said that. All right. So we've got ourselves. This isn't a true lounge. Didn't place an official bet there. We could, I suppose, if we wanted to, for the time that we've got on here. We're probably going to only be on for 90 minutes to 2 hours, something like that, guys. But yeah, we're here to have any discussion points that you want to have. Obviously, the Derby being a big one. We've talked about it already in a number of different videos, but today's the day. We've got a lot of races that we've all handicapped in various quantities. We can talk about that. We can talk about upcoming races, but we're just here to hang out, cocktail lounge style, have a good time, drink of choice. It's early, so I'm on water now and I'm driving around.
Yes.
So So I gotta make sure I'm legal here. So yeah, hit us up with anything you guys like. Raul Salazar, you brought up Denon Bourbon. Let's jump into that. I did a video on Denon Bourbon. I didn't want to just grab him as a wise guy pick, right? We've seen this before. There's Japanese horses that make sense. There's Japanese horses that don't make sense. And I think sometimes there can be clues in the races that they run. For example, when Forever Young came out, his race times looked pretty good. I think he ran in the UAE Derby, and he had one of the lower race times. And I compared that to what Wonder Dean ran this year, and Wonder Dean was more in the Admire Daytona Crown Pride category. So that meant he was a no play for me. But the Fukurayu, which is the biggest race that Denon Bourbon ran in, he had the best time in like 25 years, right? He ran like a 150.9, which on that type of sandy surface is phenomenal. And what I often say is when you don't, and Tim, I don't know how you think about this as well, and I've been vamping here, so I'll let you jump in a second, but when you see horses that don't race in the competition, when they're leveling up or classing up, as we say, the thing I usually look for is in that previous race, did they drop a time that leads you to believe that they are respectable within this class, given what that time was in those previous races, right? If it's a lower grade stakes race, was it higher in comparison to either like track record or previous races of other years when horses have been running? And I looked at him as having the best Fukurayu, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't care about class in this case. This horse looks good to me, and he passes the eye contest. So what I know you also liked Denon Bourbon. I think you liked him before I did even. But what are the things that you looked at to say, okay, he just ran into 2 races plus the Fukurayu. What makes me think he can bring, some effort to this Grade 1 Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things here for me. One was when you look at his pedigree, I think it's definitely pretty strong and it screams classic distance. I mean, by street sense out of a Bernardini mare. And then you look at the fact that this was not a horse that was bred in Japan. This horse was bred here in Kentucky.
Yeah,
And,
Maxfield sire, right?
What's that? And I'm sorry, Bob Maxfield,
Maxfield.
who is by street sense, which is what I meant. But no, but that's a great point because that's what I was going to talk about. Maxfield absolutely loved Churchill Downs. Maxfield horses typically run well there. I think Maxfield was 5 for 5 at Churchill.
Yeah, and it's a shame he didn't run in the Derby, right? He got injured before the Derby, had to get put on the shelf, if I remember correctly, that year. And it was a huge disappointment that we didn't get to see Maxfield in this level of competition.
Yes. But I just, the thing that got it for me, and this was, really even before digging into pedigree or anything else, as we were preparing to do our spotlight videos and kind of looking and doing research on all the horses. And one thing I do is I go back and watch lots of videos. And I early on went back and I wanted to see the Invader. So I was going back and looking at their races and he's just impressive. He's a physical specimen. He just looks the part. And the thing that got me was his turn of foot and his reach is just in this field. He may look the best on the track as far as the way he runs. Now he's got to run the opposite direction for the first time. And, it's a new place and new surroundings, but the Japanese are, we know they're doing well on the world stage. It's only a matter of time before they get a Kentucky Derby. Do I think Denon Bourbon can win? It's not out of the question, but I personally have him more as an underneath play. But I do think that he figures in here. To me, this Kentucky Derby is very top heavy. There are those 5 or 6 that are at the top, and after that, I can draw a line through a bunch of them and say I don't even want them on my ticket. And that's not to say they don't come in and ruin the day for me, but this is not one of those. There are a lot of horses that I will be kicking off my ticket, and Denon Bourbon will definitely be on there.
Right. Cool. Yeah. Great input, Tim. Great input. Denon Bourbon
And
is
you
on
know,
my
he
ticket.
looks to most likely said a stalking pace, which if you've looked, I recapped halfway through the card. Formula knows this because I sent a message yesterday in our chat group, but I recapped the card halfway through because you are not closing on this track right now. And if you
Right.
look at the way it's been playing, and I was out there last Saturday on opening day, and you know, the comment, and even as all the horses worked, was that it's just absolutely killer fast, as
Yeah.
fast as I've ever seen it. And you know, and I live here in the in the Louisville area and go to Churchill a lot, so it's as fast as I've ever seen it. And that does not bode well for those deep closers. So you're seeing that in the races today, and that's how I started to do a little better on the last half of yesterday's card. Was I went back, and anybody that I liked that was closing, I kicked them, and none of those horses came in, but some of the ones that I added to my tickets did. So
Yeah.
it was good to look at it again. And then when I redid everything for today, before this morning, it was doing the exact same thing. I want horses on the front or just stalking mid pack at the most. And even some of the mid pack horses, if you're watching, they're struggling. Even in that last race, if you look,
Yeah.
I think that a couple of those horses, now the 6 did close up a little bit for underneath, and that's the best you can do. And that's why I think you look at horses like a Renegade and you're like, the best he can do is the bottom of the try, just like the 6 just
Yeah.
did. And I really think that that's the way that the track is playing, which is why I was really strong on Further Ado coming into the race. Right now, he's a single for me in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got Further Ado. So right now, the way my play works, I put a bet in. I've got a trifecta key box, one of our favorite plays, right? It gives you a lot of different options for $9 on a 50-cent try. But I have Further Ado keyed because I'm just looking at this field and I'm thinking, who do I feel safest with to hit the board, 1, 2, or 3? And man, Further Ado in the bluegrass looks sensational. And it's not the first time we've seen him look that good, but he just didn't want anything to do with the other horses. And the other thing, when we were talking about Denon Bourbon and classing up, when you see a race where you think that a horse outclasses all the other horses, right? How do you judge that against something that's more competitive, like the Florida Derby? We talked about that as having the best competition with Commandment, the Puma, and Chief Wallaby, right? And we didn't see that level of competition, or we didn't think that that level of competition was necessarily present in the bluegrass. So what do you look for there? You just look for the horse to lay it on the table and have an easy stretch run, putting lengths and lengths between him and the rest of the competition, which is exactly what Further Ado did. So I got Further Ado, and then we talked about Denon Bourbon. I've got him in there. I do like the Chad Brown horse, Emerging Market. I think he's a very fresh horse too. He's run in 2 races. He's won 2 races. And the other horse that I have there is Patente, because right, we've talked about this before too. We've seen this story from Bob Baffert over and over, where he gets a horse he likes into Santa Anita Derby. The horse looks pretty good. Then he gets second place. We saw it with Medina Spirit and Rock Your World. I think I've got the right pairing there. And we saw it with Honor AP beating Authentic. That second place horse comes in, wins the Derby somehow. Is it the cream in the clear? We don't know. Maybe we can answer that for Medina Spirit somewhat. The horse was really strong, but still. But we also know that Bob Baffert is very tactical in what he does. And Patente is a horse that's going to be on the pace, whether it's just off or setting the pace. And he could be a horse that has something down the stretch. That was the 4th horse I put in there for safety.
Yeah, but for a Derby that many of us thought was so wide open in the beginning, I think the picture's coming into focus quite a bit more.
Yeah.
And Ryan, I totally agree. The closer we get, the more I like Further Ado. Johnny V's riding well. Had some good rides yesterday, and if anybody's going to jump on a horse and win, Johnny V's done it twice.
Yeah. Further Ado has laid out some of the biggest wins this year. And he hasn't won every race. There's a couple horses out there that you can look at that just keep winning one after the other. But when Further Ado does win, he just seems to just lay it on out there and doesn't mind embarrassing the field. So,
Right.
yeah. And what do you like about Further Ado Tim, that you don't necessarily like about Commandment?
Um, so I said in my video on Commandment that I
Mhm.
think from a pedigree perspective, to me, for what I like, and I'm no pedigree expert by far, but
Sure.
just some of the horses I've been very successful for and with, and you talk about having a classic pedigree. He's just so well bred, and he
Yeah.
definitely looks the part. But the thing about it is he's a plotter. He just goes and goes and goes at it about his business and everything. But
Grind,
you
grind,
know,
grind.
especially the way the track is playing, I just love a horse that gets over the track, and that is Further Ado to me right now. The way he gets over the track, he's the one. And again, we're looking at how the track is playing. If you look at it as these horses come into the stretch, the horses up front, top couple of horses, they're winning nearly every race. It's like
Yeah.
if you're not amongst that within a couple of links at the top of the stretch, it's tough. And I don't
Yeah.
think he is, unless they change things up today. I just don't think he's going to be there. But I will
Right.
say this: when I'm filling out my tickets, if I pulled up my Kentucky Derby PPs right now,
Mhm.
when I look, on top is 18, number 2 is 6.
Yeah.
I think Brad Cox has the potential in here to go 1-2.
He kind of does, right? He
I really
his
do.
his barn this year, like when you looked at it in January, it almost looked like he was going to fill half the field. And
Right.
obviously, we know with Pletcher, Cox, and Baffert and trainers like that, they overwhelm you with the number of 2-year-olds they have that are going through those 100K maiden special weight races, and you're thinking, oh, this could be the one. Got an Into Mischief here, that could be the one. Got a Gun Runner there, that could be the one.
Right.
But yeah, at one point, like we're putting together these lists, and I just see Brad Cox all the way down my list, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's just going to own it this year.
Yeah.
And they fall off, but for him to at least put 3 out of 20 in there before full effort scratched, that really says something about how strong he was this year.
Yeah, his barn's amazing. But when I approached that race, and we won't spend much more time on this one, and although
Yeah.
we can talk about other races and things, since we won't be on air by the time that one goes, is when I'm constructing my tickets, I'm basically looking at, I'm going to play 15 Further, or 18, excuse me, Further Ado with 6
Yep.
Commandment. And then I'm going to play a group of 5 horses that I'm looking at for 3rd and 4th, in the Try and Super. And then I'm going to take that group of 5 horses and I'm going to put them under Further Ado and move Commandment down to 3rd and just single Commandment in 3rd. So that's the way I plan to attack it here. Is I think Brad Cox is finishing 1st and 2nd, or 1st and 3rd in the race. And, maybe I go a little bit beyond that and go ahead and key him down in 4th just to be sure. But I really, looking at the race, I think those 2 horses are on the board. It's hard for me to look at it and think, unless Further Ado just does not run his race. And I'm telling you, I just don't see that. I know people love to say that B word and say he's going to bounce. But if you look at him on the track, I don't see that coming.
Commandment can bounce too, for all we know, right? He's been winning.
Yeah, I mean, he's had back-to-back triple digit buyer speed figures, and they've been right there. So he's only won 4 straight.
Yeah.
So
All right, Tim.
It's going to be a great race. It's going to be a great race.
Yeah. We have 13 minutes to post here. We did have 1 or 2 people asking, and my phone keeps like reverting back, about race 4. So we got Shelly in here asking, is Splendora that much better to be even money? And we're talking about a race of after the scratch of Hall and Ice, Hall and Oats, Hall and Ice. We got down from 6 horses to 5. So we got ourselves a short field, 7 furlongs on dirt. Ways and Mean opened up sub 2-1 as the favorite, but now Splendora is currently sitting at even money. Oh, my app is not loving me right now. So what are your thoughts on this race? Because I have those 2 horses pretty darn close, and I have, even though this is going to be a pace heavy race, I do have the pace setter as being the 6 horse, and at 7 furlongs, we've seen how pace can set up in this race. So I'm thinking in my head of playing this potentially two different ways, but what's your opinion on this one?
Yeah, I mean, short field here. There's not a lot of ways I want to go with the wagering here, and I kind of look at those two horses, and to me, it's them and everyone else. And
The
I
4 and the
look at
5.
ways I look at ways and means, and think that that she's probably much the best in there if she's ready to go. But even if you like the two horses and you're gonna flip a coin, here's the coin I'm flipping. Jose Ortiz is heads and Flavian Prat is tails, and it's gonna land on heads every time. You know, Pratt is riding like garbage,
Yeah.
and Jose is just tearing up the track. So give me Jose over Flavian all day, every day, especially Derby day.
And I'll go back to yesterday too and give you another angle here on Explora. Sorry, not Explora, Splendora, but I'm talking about Explora because Bob Baffert's horse had the 1 last night, got a tremendous break, got control of the pace, and then faded back until we didn't even see her in the top 3 yesterday. And I was a little disappointed in that because I had that horse in my daily double, which did not pan out for me. But yeah, Bob Baffert, his girl's not bringing it necessarily so far at Churchill Downs. So that gives you an angle to say maybe not Splendora today, ways and means. And then any thoughts on the 6 to upset here, our disaster?
No, to me that's the horse that logically you want after the top two. But
Yeah,
you could probably make a little bit of a case for Usha here, but especially with Hall and Ice scratching out. Hall and Ice was bringing speed. Okay,
yeah,
so that's definitely going to affect the pace dynamic of the race. And then when you look at what's left in here, it looks like Splendora is probably going to go to the lead.
yeah,
Which is why I like Ways and Means a little bit better. And the funny thing is, if you look at Ways and Means and look at the jockey, it's been all Flavian Pratt,
yeah,
and
yeah,
now Pratt goes over and rides for Baffert and opens up Ways and Means for Jose. But interesting choice. And especially with JJ being here. I mean, JJ's at Churchill right now. So why JJ doesn't ride this horse and Pratt does is kind of a little bit of a head scratcher. But he did ride her in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint last year, and
yeah.
a nice win there over Vava. But I could be wrong, like I am a lot when I'm betting horses. But
Yeah.
I want the 4 over the 5.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and I
I'm
do
not going to
see.
go any deeper or any other wagers. I'm probably I'm not looking to box anything. I'm going
Yeah,
to stick to my opinion just like I did in the first race. I hammered an 11-3 straight exacta and got that one home at 5-1. I'm going to do
yeah,
the same thing right here. And I'm just going to play the 4-5 exacta, and that's all I'm going to do. And right now, if you're looking at it, it's 4-1. The 5-4 is a little bit under 4-1. It's 383.
yeah, yeah. I'm not playing this race. It's a little too chalky for me,
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily see a good angle here. I do think with you, I think the 5 is definitely going to go to the lead. I think the 6 is going to go to the lead as well. Um, I think that there's going to be a little bit of a pace battle there. The 1 could even be putting some pace pressure on. So I do think that opens the door for the 4, who's going to be a little bit more off of the pace to take over at the end there. So
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a way to play this race, what I would recommend for anybody is there's not a lot of wagering value here. So what I would look at is potentially look at the pick 4 with whoever you like here, the 4 or 5, and I wouldn't take them both, but I would look at a
yep,
pick 4 ticket here. I would take a single flyer there, and then you're looking at the next 3 races. Which have some decent value in some fairly deep fields, and just cut a short ticket and
yeah,
take a shot on a pick 4 here with at least having the first leg as whoever you like the best, and and singling that one. And if you've got a strong opinion on one of the others, and I kind of do. I know that when you're looking at the next race, a lot of people like Litigation, and I
yep.
really like Yellow Card.
Oh, do you now? Okay,
I love Yellow Card.
I've got them 1 and 2. Yeah, I've got them 1 and 2. It's, a little bit chalky, but it's 1 and 2. Got Joe
Yes.
Shiesty in there as well. I mean, the chalkiest way to go is my boy Prince at 5-2. We'll see if the public agrees with that. But yeah.
I think that's changing. The morning lines have been a work in progress, let's say.
Yeah. Okay, Shelly, hope that answered your question. I think Shelly so Shelly had the question there. Curtis Stinnett. Keen the 5 first and second. 1, 3, 4, 6.
Good luck,
Good luck to
Curtis.
you, Curtis. Good luck. All right. Hoover Maneuver.
Thank
Really
you,
enjoy
Hoover. We
listening.
appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Or
Love it as
ma'am.
always.
How do you know it's a sir? I'm going ma'am.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Hoover. We'll just put it that way. Thank you, Hoover. However you want to play it. Raul, thank you for the comments.
Right.
All right. I just restarted my other phone here because it lost Verizon somehow. Guys, I'm on multiple gadgets right now. What can I say?
I'm correct. You're wrong. It's a ma'am.
Hoover Maneuver. My apologies, ma'am.
Hoover, we try to get formula to stop all that sexist stuff in here, but it's a work in
just
progress.
Unbreakable.
It's a work
unbreakable. It's a work in progress. Guys, I'm not broken. I'm just trying to fix some things.
Story of my life.
Story of my life. We're all trying to get a little bit better. If you're not, then what are you doing, right? It's like an episode of Ted Lasso. All right, so we still got 4 minutes to post here on a race for the Derby City Distaff. Distaff, dat staff. Any staff. And then, we'll be floating over onto race 5. Where is Sean? Our buddy Sean. I thought he was all geared up. We saw him in the comments. Is he sitting in a room that we don't know about here?
That Derby preview you made is still out there. Maybe Sean's over there like, where is everybody?
Oh no. I'm gonna go in and scratch that one right now because it would not be surprising if that happened.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
He's probably just a little behind.
Yeah.
I need him to come in so I can duck out between races because I was a little late getting in because I was cranking up my smoker and I'm getting ready to throw my ribs on.
Ooh, feel free. I'm sitting outside Trader Joe's right now. At some point, I'm going to have to go in and get a few things. So we can trade back and forth at some point here, and Sean can help out too. We might even get El Hombre. He sounded like he was game at one point, but I don't know. I'm not putting money on that.
I hope he shows.
I do too. I miss the guy.
We need an Hombre sighting.
We need at least some glimmer of hope. All right, let me go into broadcast. Yeah, I got to kill that old one we had in there. Oh no, this isn't going to work. I'm gonna have to back out in order to do that. Nope, not worth it.
All right, looks like we're still 3 minutes to post. They're dragging these out. I'm telling you, it's like. But
oh my gosh!
If you saw the handle yesterday, it was through the roof. So big day for Churchill. That was just the wagering handle. They probably made just as much on $22 lilies and mint juleps, but
I was just gonna say, I have a feeling that they are dragging it out so that they are selling more beverages.
Well, right? The thing is, on Derby Day, most of the tickets come with the food and drink included. You just got to wait in the long ass lines to get.
Okay. These are the things I don't know.
Yeah, that's why the ticket prices are through the roof.
Got it.
And there are even tickets to where like you can go and they set up an area that's outside the actual normal Churchill Downs. They set up this little courtyard out there and you can go from there, walk around out there, go into the paddock, but you get no trackside access.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, these are the things I don't know.
This is killing me, Ryan. The time between the races. Here's the good news. The Derby is not at 8:40 tonight. That was stupid.
Yeah, Yeah, you don't have to put the kids to bed first.
Yeah. Not that anybody listens to me, but don't do that again.
Yeah.
It was too long. It was too much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a long one.
You know, even today, you do have the last race today is scheduled for 8:33, I believe it is. But that's 2 races after the Derby.
Yeah, is that a maiden race this year or an optional claimer?
Yeah, I
can't
believe it's a
remember.
maiden in the last one.
Maiden. Yeah.
Great way to finish up a $120,000 maiden special weight. The race immediately after is an optional claiming affair. Non-winners of one other than. Beautiful.
Want to give a shout out to my buddy Greg out there. Yes, I am. I'm wearing the merch here, and he's got some merch at his party. He's got a Derby party. Good buddy of mine. He's going to be raffling off or using Trust the Prophet shirts as prizes. So thank you, Greg. Glad you're enjoying the stream. We'll be on here for a little bit. Not going to be there for the Derby. That's a little bit too long for some of us, but we will be here to give you a nice little preview.
I'm going to take a guess formula that
Sorry.
that Truth here is not talking about this race with the 18 and the 12. That he's talking about the Derby there.
I think so. I think so. Those numbers look familiar, and I would say those look like Derby numbers.
Hey, I would not argue those numbers at all. What's up, Paul? Paul checking in from across the pond.
Paul, are you going to stay up late enough to see the Derby live? And how late is that for you, Paul? Good to see you, buddy. Always nice to see you. Yeah, the 18 scratched out of race 4. We know that, right? Or race 5, whatever the next race is. Race 4.
We are racing.
There was never an 18. We are racing.
So all the way back in the chute, the horses are coming out. 5 of them across the track. And it is the 6, Our Disaster, showing the early speed. Splendora is about a length off of that one, back in second. Coming up the rail is Usha into third. It's another half length back to Ways and Means. And currently at the back of the pack, that's Autumn Evening. Up front, still Our Disaster. Splendora is just off of that one to the outside. Down on the rail is Usha. Ways and Means has a nice stalking trip back and forth, about 3 lengths off the lead. The quarter was in 22 and 3 as they round the far turn. Our Disaster, Splendora draws up alongside that one. Ways and Means getting into gear behind those. As we head to the top of the stretch, the half was in a nice 45 flat. Here we come. Ways and Means being pushed a little bit wide. Our Disaster still right there. Splendora.
Our Disaster's going to do it.
Here comes Ways and Means. Usha looking for room and not getting there. Our Disaster has more. It's that front end speed. The front end speed is hitting. Our Disaster, Ways and Means. And my feed locked up, so I don't know what happened.
Our Disaster, Ways and Means, Usha, 6-4-1.
Wow.
Yeah. I should have gone heavier on the 6. Should have gone heavier on the 6. I looked at all my formulas and I had the 4 and the 5 very close. And based on what you said, I agreed that the 5 was going to fade. But I thought the 6 would stick around. I thought the 4 was going to take over, though, honestly. I had a very high rating on the 6, but it didn't pass the eye test to me. So yeah.
Hoover, so we watch through our ADW accounts.
Yeah.
So the advanced deposit wagering, if you've got an advanced wagering account, they do typically have the videos in all of those. So that's how we watch. And obviously we can't show it. Copyright violations, they'd come looking for us, especially with Churchill Downs. They try to squeeze money out of every hot dog they sell. So
yeah, they would shut us downs. Yeah, I'm watching on TVG right now. You don't even have to insert any money into your account to watch on TVG.
Exactly.
You can just set up an account there and watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that there's a horse racing network out there to where you can get it on your TV and get all tracks. And there's an app for most smart TVs that you can download and put on your TV. And it's fairly affordable if you're interested in that. I did that at one point, but now I just do everything through my ADW.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I took a pass on that race.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Yeah, small field just didn't do it for me.
Right. All right, we go into the next race though, pretty soon. I guess we better wait for this one to pay out before we really jump into the next race.
Absolutely. So
And
once
Sean
again,
is
formula. Here's my point. Okay, let's keep making this point over and over and over and beating it into everyone's head because I just think it's important.
Yes, sir.
If you go down and you look at our disaster, last time out in a 7 furlong race, which is a race of this distance in the Madison at Keeneland, you had a horse backing up, throwing up a good figure in the grade 1 Madison there. Before that was 6.5 furlongs and had a little more staying power. But my point here is this: front end speed, front end speed, front end speed.
Yeah.
And even on horses on paper that look like they may back up a little bit at the end, so far over the last couple of days of racing, that's just not happening. So for everybody that thinks that Further Ado is going to get out there and going to come back to the field, I'm not so sure, because if you'd asked me before that race, I'd have said Ways and Means catches Our Disaster. If that's the race that you explain exactly what happened to me to the top of the stretch, and I'm like, well, Ways and Means will go right by.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
Did not happen.
And I had Ways and Means as being close to the pace, which he was. He was close
Right.
to the pace. And I know in a lot of cases we've seen horses close to the pace being able to take over a pace horse that does start to fold back. But hey, you look at Our Disaster, I think he had like four gate to wire wins in his last 10 starts. So he's been able to do it. Yeah, I've got him as having 5 wins, 4 of them going gate to wire, 3 for Splendora out of 6 wins. So it looked like it was possible, but obviously you look at Splendora, Ways and Means, the class looked way better. And, you know, I wagered in my head that class was going to make a big difference there, and Ways and Means was going to seal the deal. He wasn't that far back, but he didn't have it down the stretch, not like Our Disaster did. Our Disaster looked very fresh coming off of that pace. And what was that pace? Let's see. We have
it was solid fractions in there when you look at the fractions. So they went 22 and 3, 45 flat, 108, 120.
Yeah. Yeah. Tyler was cruising. Tyler looks very happy now, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. And that paid out 1626. There we go.
Yeah, very nice payout if you had that one. 1626, $5 to place, $3.96 to show.
Now I got to figure out if I'm going to play the next race.
I'm playing that one for sure because I've got a horse I like that's not going to be the favorite, most likely. As a matter of fact, there may be 2 horses taking more money, and I like my horse more.
Yeah. Yeah, I am not as high on my Prince.
Shelly,
I got him there.
It just hasn't happened so far, Shelly. Everybody keeps saying that the track is going to slow down. And even when I was there last Saturday for opening day, everybody's like, oh, you know, by the time Derby rolls around in a week, everything hasn't happened yet. Even if you watch the races over the entire week, I mean, 5-0 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thurby, Oaks Day, take your pick. Every one of those days, it has just been fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Oaks, though, I'm trying to remember. The 9 horse came from behind, and there was a reason I didn't. So I had the horses ranked 2, 9, 1. But when I looked at it, I liked where the 1 and the 2, where I thought they would be on the pace a little bit better, but the 9 ended up bringing it at the end. So I'm wondering, there may be a situation where as the day goes on, maybe that ends up being the case where the closers can come in. Sometimes it depends on the closers, though. That was a good horse.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's every speed horse is not going to win every race, but speed is definitely holding up. It's just something that you have to factor in. But there are going to be races to where there are still horses that are going to beat the horses on the lead, obviously. But that's more a thing of horse over horse. And when you look at fields that are fairly similar in performance and speed figures and ratings, it's like then then I think you take the horse that's going to be in front as they hit the stretch.
Yeah. 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 I mean, playing a show on any horse that you think is the pace setter in any of these dirt races, definitely not the worst move.
Formula.
Yes,
What,
sir.
what did I say just a minute ago about betting this race?
Betting which race?
The
This
one coming up.
You liked Litigation and Yellow Card.
Well, I
And
mean,
you
Yellow
were
Card was
afraid.
my top pick, and I said that Yellow Card was going to be third in the betting, and I'm gonna bet this race because the horse is gonna.
Because you can get so much value out of that horse that opened up at 9-2, and you think that My Prince is going to get more play and Litigation's going to get more play. What's Yellow Card at now?
2-1.
And who's your favorite right now?
Yellow Card.
And who's the first pick on TVG? Yellow Card. It's not going well for you, Tim. I apologize.
This is the story of my life. And if you're a regular in the cocktail lounge, you know, it's like I come into the night and it's like, yes, I've got a horse here and I got a little bit of a price. And it's like 10-1 on the morning line, open up 9-5 favorite.
Yeah, Tim's, pushing his papers down on the desk like, okay, I got one for you guys. This is a good one. This is going to make some money. What's he at right now? Oh, 5-2. Oh, okay. Well, I still like him at 5-2, but
Exactly.
yeah, we've seen those. It really does vary where you go. Sometimes you see that at Woodbine. You definitely see it at Turfway, where sometimes a horse opens up at 20-1, and you're like, "Ooh, I don't know if you guys are going to like this, but I got a 20-1. I think he can win." And then you look at what the public says, and they've got him down to 7-2, and you're like, "Oh, well, okay, yeah, I guess it makes sense to everybody now." All right. With that said, we talked about the 7, the 9. The 3 was the opening favorite. Is there any horse here that is a little bit more long on odds that you think could squeeze in here? Is either an underneath play a possible win?
Yes. My third pick.
Ooh, okay.
So
Are you ready for it, or do you want to wait on this?
I'm okay to talk about it.
All right, let's.
Yellow Card was my top pick, and then
Yes.
I was definitely trying to beat Litigation in here. Joe Shiesty makes a lot of sense from the outside and is going to have early speed. That's the one you worry about hanging on. But I like Mondo Gets Buckets.
Yes, that's where I was going to go. Go for it, Tim.
Yeah, I just think that this is a horse who, when you look at the last 4 races, this horse had 9 lifetime races all on dirt, and then they put the horse on turf 4 back. They've all been at 5.5 furlongs. The first time out finished just off the board in an allowance race, but the horse ran well enough to where they took him and they put him in a stakes race there at the fairgrounds, and he ran that and then ran back in the Colonel Power, where he was just beaten by Usually Wrong, who's the horse that's beaten him the last 2 out. So that's the only horse. And if you look at even the race in the allowance, who won that race? Yes, that was Usually Wrong. So it's like that was the only horse that beat this horse up into the Shakertown at Keeneland. Now, the Keeneland turf, being a Keeneland guy, the Keeneland turf's a little bit different. And down at the fairgrounds, the turf is a little bit firmer. But Keeneland's turf has a little give to it. Okay. And so I want to say that even when it's listed as firm, to me, it's still a little bit more give than what a lot of these horses are accustomed to. And this horse has been long odds in every race. I mean, you look, even the 2 where this horse finished second, he was 14-1 and 12-1. And in the last race, he was still on the board third, and it was 18-1 in that one almost. And it's just like, this horse is getting no respect. He only lost to My Boy Prince and Yellow Card last out. And I mean, those are the horses who we like in here, right? Yep. So I just think that are amongst the favorites in here. But this is a horse who consistently, since they put this horse on grass, has been doing really well. And who does he pick up on the mount? I mean, only the best regular rider at Turfway, and that's Tyler Gaffleone. And if anybody knows their way around the track and how to get a horse home, and he's been on this horse the last 2 races, 2 back at Fairgrounds and last time at Keeneland. So I think he's in with a big shot here. I don't think he's a win candidate. I like the others better, but especially if you're looking at the odds right now, this is a horse who came off an 8-1 morning line. He's sitting at 13-1. So lots of horses taking more money than this one, but I want this one on my ticket underneath.
And he sits further back, but we're talking about turf now, not dirt. So all that stuff we're talking about being early pace,
Yeah,
winning
completely
the
different.
day, right? Yeah, it's totally different. Surfaces are reacting differently. So right now, all that talk is dirt. For the turf, a horse that sits further back that easily can close. We've seen it many times. Is often the case with these turf races. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the horse I was going to bring up. In terms of grading last races, I got him as having the best last race. If I look at his averages across the board, he grades out evenly with horses like Yellow Card, Joe Shiesty, and My Boy Prince. Like the temperature maps look about the same for those horses for me. In terms of median lengths from first place, he grades out as less than -1 for me, which means that you're getting really close to the leader by the time you get to the wire, right? What else can we say here? Grades at the park round out real nicely, although like you said, he's been switching, so I'm not sure if that's turf Churchill or if that's dirt Churchill that I've got him graded out at. But yeah, I mean, he comes in here and you see some big trainers like Joe Sharp, Mark Casse, obviously Brian Lynch, Chris Block, fantastic trainer, but he's not as high a level of some of these other names that we talk about. So I think that's also part of what negates him a little bit here as well. But yeah, that's the horse I like too, is a long shot. I love that he opened up at 8-1, and he's even getting more disrespect now at 13-1 than when he opened up. So yeah. Sean did say he was coming. I did tell him not to get confused. Rachel, checking in. Rachel, I take it you were at Churchill because I've seen you post pictures from yesterday. Hope you are enjoying it. Let us know what it's like there.
What's up, Rachel? Rachel was at Churchill. She was hanging out with me.
Ah, there you go. Well, I saw her post pictures from Churchill, I think yesterday at Oaks Friday. So I'm assuming she's also there today.
I
Having a
don't
good
think so.
time taking pictures with trainers. Oh, no? Okay. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. All right.
I think she was posting pictures from last week.
Oh, was that from last week? Okay. Got it.
Or tell me if I'm wrong, Rachel. Are you here?
Yeah.
Came to town and didn't tell me? Yeah, it was last weekend.
Okay. Makes sense. All right, guys. We've got 17 minutes to post still. If you guys have any thoughts on race 5 on turf, please let us know in the comments. If there's anything that you anything you see here, just like the lounge, any bets you see, if there's any topics you want to discuss. I was going to bring up the mile today, but I wanted to wait till Sean got on because I'm sure he's going to have some opinions on that, the Pat Day.
Yes.
So I'm biting my tongue, holding back, waiting for our good buddy Sean to join us.
I'm going to message him and see what he's doing here.
Yeah, I messaged him earlier. He says he's coming, but then he said that and he hasn't come yet. So our guy gets busy. What is going on?
All right, Formula, I need to run outside for a second. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. I'll hold down the fort. We have someone joining us from Japan here. I'm assuming that this person either likes Danon Bourbon or Wonder Dean. Let us know. And I'm gonna have a trouble with the kanji there, so I apologize if I am unable to translate. But best of luck to you. I am a total fan of Danon Bourbon. Sean told you 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay, we are closing in on 1 p.m. Eastern, so it looks like Sean should be joining us shortly then. So he's got 4 minutes. He misunderstood what I was setting this up for. That's the problem. All right. Hoover Maneuver, hello, back to you. Hit that like button, everyone. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it looked like it was a blast last weekend, Rachel, definitely. So, Paul, I do want to talk about your comment here. My biggest problem for today is there's 5 or 6 previews from people I respect, including Trust the Prophets and Matt DeSantis. Going for who do you use? That is that is the big question. I mean, we put out our opinions all the time. That's what we do. We've got a video channel. We've got angles that we see. We have differing opinions. But as you know, even between Tim and myself, we're aligned, I think 75% on the Derby, 50% maybe. But we're going to go our own ways. We respect each other's opinions. We're going to go our own ways. Definitely like digging into the data. We like our different angles. But I think at the end of the day, what we always try to say is, hey, we'll give you our opinions and what we like, but definitely don't let us sway you out of something that you think is going to be the right move, right? If you're on commandment, you've got commandment to win. If you think renegade's going to overcome the one, we don't want to talk you out of it. We just want to give you our opinions on that, right? I would hate for someone to say, I went to Trust the Profits. The formula didn't have Renegade in its top 4, so I didn't use them. And then Renegade came in first, and it blew up my ticket. I would hate for that to happen. But we are starting discussions out here, giving you opinions, and hope that it helps. And we do Derby spotlights, and we try to say like where we put each horse in, whether we think this one has a shot, this one doesn't. But yeah, so all I can say to you, Paul, there is best of luck to you to weed through it. I know we're part of the problem of putting out a lot of information out there, some of it which you'll use, some of it which you can discard. But yeah, best of luck to you. One thing I will say though is Caitlin Benson, formerly Caitlin Free, 2 years ago, and I think she reposted this video. She was asked who her Derby top 3 were, and she just went through them one by one. And she essentially called out the trifecta. She liked Mystic Dan, she liked Sierra Leone, and then she liked the Japanese shipper Forever Young. And holy cow, that was the most impressive on-air trifecta call I think I've ever seen. So people like that, I definitely respect the opinion of. And if she's got something to say, I am going to listen. I may not necessarily take her advice on it, but I will definitely listen. Okay, so we are at race 5. We've got, let me refresh here. Going to figure out if I'm going to do something on race 5. We've got 13 minutes to post. I know we've got a lot of our opinions out there. Tim liked Yellow Card in Litigation, and Mondo gets buckets, so the 7-9-8 combination there. I can't remember if he liked My Boy Prince or Joe Shiesty as his third. I want to say he said Joe Shiesty was going to try to beat either one of those horses. Right now, Yellow Card is the favorite at 5-2 in the 7 hole there. And yeah, Mondo gets buckets. That's both of our favorite long play in this race here is Mondo gets buckets. I think Tyler Gaffalione on turf is fantastic. Jose Ortiz on the 3 on turf, also fantastic, and has been having a great meet at Churchill Downs this year. Litigation in there as well, Flavian Pratt. I think it makes sense to do some sort of trifecta key for me there. I might be kicking that up and hoping that it doesn't come out super chalky, although there's an opportunity for it too, which is why I might avoid it, but we'll see. If you guys have an opinion out there, if you guys have a bet for this race coming up, by all means, yeah. Betting our ways, just trust the process. Denon Bourbon, followed by Further Ado, Commandment, Wonder Dean Box. Good luck to you there, Raul. Good luck to you. Taking 2 Japanese horses there. Whew. All right. Yeah, so if you guys have any other thoughts out there on the upcoming race, go ahead and shout them out. Let's see. And then one horse that we didn't talk about with Tim that I really like is Emerging Market. Yeah, Emerging Market. Let me see if I can flip over to him. That is a horse I'm surprised at the price that we've been getting on Emerging Market. His speed figures, the way I calculate them, calculate out well for me. I believe he was the winner Louisiana Derby. Yes, he was. And I know that was a very close race at the end. He was getting quite a bit of challenge from Pavlovian in that race. But I know we didn't have Louisiana Derby necessarily represented last year, but we've seen since they switched to 9.5 furlongs, we've seen Angel of Empire. That's what I was trying to think of. We've seen Epicenter. We've seen these horses come out of winning that race and doing well. Didn't happen last year, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because I did have that horse in my box, but I think it was Taptastic last year, if I remember right, and Taptastic has not looked that great since. Anywho, but I do like the horse coming out of that race. He's a horse that is undefeated as well. At the 15th position, it's a horse that sits just off the pace. Candy Ride, Flavian Pratt, Chad Brown. I know, as Tim said, Flavian Pratt has not been doing so well at the meet, but man, Flavian Pratt is one of the best jockeys in the U.S. right now. In general, I mean, I don't mean like at the meet right now, but if you're talking about any race and Flavian Pratt is mounting one of the horses there, I'm definitely going to be taking a long look at that horse, thinking you can't leave him out because Flavian Pratt is on that horse. So Emerging Market is one of the horses that I've got in my trifecta box for sure. And I'm going to have to take another look here to see what his number is. Go to race 12. Yeah, I'm going to go through some of these odds here for Kentucky Derby. Right now, Commandment is your current leader at 5-1. That has been switching back and forth between a number of horses. I have not seen Commandment get the being the current odd favorite yet. Who else we got here? Further Ado at 6-1. We've got Renegade at 6-1. At 7-1, we've got Chief Wallaby. Emerging Market now down 9-1. So his number keeps dropping, actually. He opened up at 15, and I was shocked by that. I thought Emerging Market was going to have a much lower number. But yeah, 9-1. Pavlovian, who was right with him, is at 45-1. And I'm sure some people are looking at that thinking, well, Pavlovian was just so damn close to Emerging Market. How does that happen? The body of work for Pavlovian is interesting because his last 2 races have looked spectacular, but he's run about 10 races, and the first 8 have looked, not so incredible. Not so incredible. Struggle City. But that last race for Pavlovian, he looked like he was up to the challenge. So it's like, hey, do I take the whole body of work or do I just look at the recency? You don't want to fall into recency bias, but you also know that a horse is maturing into his 3rd year, and maybe it took a number of races to get him to the point. All right, so Rachel, show on stage here. Emerging Market, yes, and also Incredibolt. Should be a good price. Several I know who win big said I should include him. So there is some advice from Rachel. Thank you for checking in, Rachel. Yeah, Incredibolt. I did not do a video. We can't get through all the videos. It's a lot of videos to get through, but Incredibolt is an interesting one as well. Let's see, where's he sitting? He is number 11. I have his last race graded out well. The entire body of work I did not have super high. He ran in the Street Sense. He ran in the Holy Bull. He won the Virginia Derby, and he dropped a pretty big number in the Virginia Derby in terms of race grades and whatnot. But yeah, it's the whole body of work that I struggle with. And then how do I grade out the Virginia Derby? There's only been 2 of them, and they're strange races. It's a 1-turn 9 furlong race. So you wonder how you take that race and project it forward to the Kentucky Derby. And you also wonder about the level of talent in that race. Last year, American Promise, I believe it was, won that race. And the race time that he had for 9 furlongs was just like outrageous. I think it was like a 148, 147, maybe a 146 even. And usually, if I'm judging whether a horse is going to be projecting forward to the Derby, they run a 9 furlong race, and it's in the U.S., I want to see them run a sub 150. So this is like 4 or 5 seconds lower than my threshold, which you don't often see. And I'm not trying to talk you out of Incredibolt. I'm just telling you where I'm going with Incredibolt. So it was tough for me to see that as his last race and then project him forward off of that. But there's other things to look at with the horse too. you know, he's like you said, you've got other people you've been looking at. I've seen a lot of people talk about Incredibolt as well. So we'll see what happens. All right. What else we got going on here? All right. Who should my superfecta bet be for an order? Ooh. All right. Got the president checking in on this one, huh? The superfecta in order. If I were to give you my superfecta, it would be something like 18. Hold on. 18, which is further ado. I've got him as my most likely winner. And then after that, I would have 18, 15, 7. Where's Potente? 14. Those are the ones, and I'm not putting together a super. I'm not putting together a super myself, but those are the 4 horses I have. I know Tim's got a different order. I think Tim was going with 18 as well, but then he was moving over to Commandment for his second horse, and then he had a couple horses he was filling in underneath. So that's just my opinion on the superfecta for. Will Further Ado beat Commandment? I think so. Tim and I were just talking about this, and Tim had to check out for a second, and we are still waiting on Sean to join us. He's making me hold down the fort by myself. That jerk. Sean's not a jerk. No one thinks that. But we both think that Further Ado, the way he's worked out, the way he ran his last race, the style of running. I mean, Commandment has just been so strong and so consistent. But I feel like when Further Ado runs his best race is better than the other best races of all the other horses. That's my opinion. Sean will probably come in. He might come in with a different opinion, but Tim and I were both talking about this. Yes, we both like Further Ado better than Commandment. So we'll see where that lays out. Yeah, there we go. So that's the question I was answering there. It's going to be tough to see though. So we were talking about this before also, where feel like the races that Commandment has been in have been tougher. So his races have been closer. He's been facing tougher competition. But when Further Ado wins, if he's not facing tougher competition, he just lays out the lengths behind him in those races. So thank you for checking in. Curtis Stinnett, what you got there? So you're Tri-Keen the 7 first. Okay, so this is the current race that we're on here. And let me check to see how many minutes we have to post. Got 5 minutes on the turf sprint. So you've got yellow card first, and second would be 3, 6, 9, and 10. Good luck to you there, Curtis. All right. So let me do a trifecta key. I think I'm gonna play along, guys. I think I'm gonna key the horse that I've got for the long. I'm gonna do a trifecta key box with the 8, 9, 7, and 3, because I really want to get the value out of the 8 there. Oh, we got 1 minute to post now, so we're going to be talking through the race in a second here. So good luck to you guys there. They're going to be loading up. So yeah, I'll type in what I'm playing here. Going to be tough to beat. Yeah, going to be tough. Absolutely. Taking a flyer in Bear River. Dirty Bird, good luck. Oh, Renegade. Renegade was the horse that you were bringing up. Yeah. I know. It. I feel like you can make the case in the Derby that there's a bunch of horses that are going to be tough to beat. The problem with Renegade, and I'm talking, yeah, agreed that it's going to be tough to beat him. Let me highlight this comment and tell you why Tim and I were talking off of Renegade. The best closer in the race, bar none, right? If I look at all the numbers, I'm trying to beat him with other closers, and it's just not working. His last furlong time in his 9 furlong race was the way I had it clocked out, the best of anyone there, right? And that's often something people look at. But the way that Churchill on dirt has been running the past few weeks, and including yesterday and into today, the horses that have been coming from further back have been bombing. So take it with a grain of salt. A good horse can potentially overcome that. So I don't want to totally talk you out of it, but this is why I've been looking at these other horses. I'm also looking for bargains here. I'm looking for a few longs. I didn't want to tie in too many short numbered horses, but this is why I was playing off Renegade. Why Tim might be putting Renegade in, but as a third option, as a third place option. I'm looking to beat Renegade, thinking he might be fourth or fifth, and trying to do a trifecta key box using other horses instead. So thank you for the question. Let me see here. The race is off, by the way. Joe Shiesty out in front. Full disclosure, the fourth horse is behind him, but Joe Shiesty does have a nice little distance between him and the peloton. The 7 horse there as well, including Litigation, the 9 horse. 7 and the 9 are starting to make their way up and starting to close in on Joe Shiesty. 7 and 9 coming up from behind. There is a pack of horses behind that 10. Again, they are on turf. So coming up on Joe Shiesty, it looks like he is about to fade the 9 horse here, Litigation. No, Joe Shiesty's actually got a little bit more left in the tank here. He's showing a little bit of fight down the stretch. The 9 and the 7 applying lots of pressure. Coming up from behind those, the 5 horse and the 3. So it looks like we're going to see 7. I want to say that's 7 with 10. 7 with 10 and 9, I'm going to say. It's going to be a little bit of a chalky trifecta, if I saw that right. I don't think the 5 made it. The 8 was nowhere to be seen. That's a big disappointment. Hey, Sean.
There we go. It's cold down in Churchill, so why not a blanket finish?
Sean bringing the heat with comments. Yes,
Love
sir.
It. Happy
Yes,
Derby
sir.
Day, everybody.
Happy Derby Day to you, Sean.
Thank you, sir.
Did you see? Did you see that right? Did I see that right? It looks like
I think
7.
you did. That was 10-9, maybe, I want to say, but that was close.
I think it's 7, 10, 9. I don't think the 3 got there for third. The 5 looked like he was charging.
He was
the
coming.
9 needed about 100 more meters to win that race.
Yeah.
Oh, the 3 might have gotten third with a nose.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun one to call.
Litigation, not the same horse since he's left Florida.
Yeah, but he got up there.
Yeah, he was. No, I thought he was in the
conversation.
perfect position. Then he just said he had no horse. You know.
Oh, you're saying for the win? I mean, he
no.
there.
I'm just saying since he's left Florida, he just doesn't have that punch that he did down there.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
That was a close one.
Mondo did not get my buckets there.
No, jeez, huh?
No.
Yellow card, Flavian, like that one. He got bet down to 5-2.
Tim called it. So Tim was getting in. He's like, I got a horse for you. It's not the favorite. And then I'm like, okay, we'll wait until the other race wraps up and we get the numbers here and the lines move. And he's like, formula, tell me what just happened. And I'm like, your favorite got bet down 2-1. He's like, yep.
Yeah.
So it was a good call by Tim, but he wasn't happy about it. We've seen it in the lounge 1,000 times.
Yeah. He was my second pick. Exactly. Of course. Exactly. Yeah. I had him exactly with him, but no dice. Close, but so exactly. Paul, I have no idea about the Celtics. Exactly. Who knows? they may have quit. I don't know. Maybe tonight they find out how to play. I don't know. Who knows?
Hey, my Pistons pulled out a crazy one. That was
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea what that team is doing either. No idea.
Yeah. One minute they look like they just want to hand it over to any team they're playing, and then the next minute
they say, "Oh, this is how we play ball again." Okay.
Yeah. They remember that they can own the court.
And they're still on the APB out for Mr. Duran. Where did you go?
I know. Like when Cade Cunningham went down, I was talking to my buddy who might be in here right now, my buddy Firsty. Yeah. Because he and I are just huge Pistons fans.
Yeah.
And you're like, when
he was
Cade
an
went down,
he was an all-star.
Yeah. He was putting up doubles. But not only that, he was putting them up. He was going like 20 and 15, 20 and 16.
He was carrying everybody. Yeah.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh. And
Then all of a sudden, playoffs, no show.
he's a man amongst boys. All right. So we got people in here
Okay.
asking for superfectas. I gave out my superfecta. Do you want to give out yours, Sean? And this is a Derby superfecta, obviously.
Okay. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you have it in order? Your 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do it. Yeah. I will go. My superfecta will be. Yes, I will do Chief Wallaby first. Second, I will do. I had this.
Take your time with it, by the way.
Further ado. I'm sorry.
Further ado.
The Pumas screwed me all up here. I had everything with the Pumas.
Yeah.
Right,
Puma scratching affected people.
Further ado. What do you call it? Further ado, Commandment, and then Golden Tempo.
Further ado, Commandment, Golden Tempo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my. I mean, I may have like 2 or 3 other horses in fourth, but I'm saying, but I'm basically using those 3 kind of on top. Put whoever you want in fourth, but I'm saying I'm going for a price, thinking Sherry's horse can get up. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of the logic I'm following.
Gotcha. Rachel, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Rachel.
Yeah. I was excited about that draft pick for Chaz. I knew he wasn't going to play much this year, if at all, but definitely excited because the kid seems like possibly electric. I know the Pistons are pretty deep on their front court, so or back court. I always get that confused. I think it's back court. Their guard play, right? But you can always use more depth, and they brought in Dennis Jenkins this year.
Yes.
And he's been developing in the G League, and every time they played him, he looked like he was giving like his last performance, every inch that he had. All-star play, and you're like, wow, that was a great one. Let's see what he does next game, though. And he turns around and does the same thing, and they're like, where's this guy hiding it?
I know. The 9 survived. 7, 10, 9, 3.
Yep.
Yeah. Michael McCarthy having a good weekend so far.
He is. Don't forget about him.
Dangerous.
His mom
man.
is awesome, good family. That is good to hear, Rachel. Thanks for checking in on that. Very cool connection you got there.
Rachel's so cool.
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
Ryan, Ryan. Chief Wallaby, Ryan Gallivan.
Oh yeah.
So I got Wallaby up on top, buddy.
So the Sean Patrick Nolan order, if I've got this right, is
yes.
Chief Wallaby 1.
Yes.
I thought I heard you say Further Ado 2.
2, yes.
Commandment 3, and wrapping it up with Golden Tempo from Cherie DeVoe, Jose Ortiz coming in strong at the end there. That would be your 4th.
Yep. That's my 4th. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. But use anybody in the back and there in 4th if you have to. You know, it could be wide open. This is the most. I mean, have you ever seen a Derby where like you can literally take like 9 horses and think legitimate chance? You know what I mean? You know, that was with the Puma, but I'm saying, but still.
I know, and I was talking about this. So one of our the guy who's the poster who's asking about our superfectas, he's like, "Well, you're leaving off Renegade," and I'm like, "It's this year especially is so tough." And I told you guys this, like after Paladin and Ted Nafi scratched, I thought those 2 horses were they were up here. I think Ted Nafi was here, Paladin was here, and then everyone else was sort of down below, and it felt very even.
Yeah.
It's just so difficult to separate a lot of these horses, especially when they've raced together so many times and finished so close to each other, like you've seen in the Florida circuit. Chief Wallaby is always up there. The Puma is always up there. Commandment's always up there. And there's like, it's very difficult to separate them. And that's just one circuit. And then you start talking about adding all these other horses in who've been looking spectacular. It's even. And to go back to his point, how can you leave off Renegade? It's like, man, you just got to cut somewhere. Otherwise, I'm creating like a 9-horse box, and I got to look at an angle to cut out a horse. And you can probably use another angle to put that horse back in and cut out another horse that I put in. But yeah, it's the Derby. It's now down to 19 horses. It's tough because no one got here being a slouch.
And I will say this too, is that if he drifts up to like 6-7 to 1, I will not be afraid to include him in my super. Like I'm putting Chief Wallaby on top of everybody, but I'm saying, but
Yeah.
if he's like 6-7 to 1, I may put in him definitely in like third or fourth. Here's my thing that, and this will help people. Okay, there's a lot of people out there that said, okay, Irad had 3 horses, and this is, hey Tim.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
And this is the horse he chose. Therefore, he must think that's the best horse. Okay, that's not always the case. Okay,
Right.
I remember a couple years ago, Johnny V had what he thought was the better horse in his mind, but he rode for Todd. He rode for and he's like, no, I have to ride for Todd. Sometimes you have to pick the person who feeds your thing 365 days a year. That's exactly what Rapoli does. That's exactly what Todd Pletcher does. So
Irad is on Renegade.
Right, exactly. So Irad didn't I don't think he picked he may think he's the best horse and he may win. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. He may think he's the best horse, but there's a lot of politics in decisions like that. You have to think this is one day out of the year, and in the other 364 days, someone's got to put you on stakes horses. You know what I'm saying? And Rapoli I love Mike Rapoli had a great quote. He said, if Irad picked one of the other 2 horses, I totally understand. I would just write him out of the will. You know what I'm saying? which I thought was a fabulous quote. You know what I'm saying? So that's how tight he and Irad are. You know what I'm saying? So the people think he picked that horse, therefore he must be the best horse. May not be. He may have let a better horse go, but he's got to think of his life 365 days a year, and that's the best decision to make. But he could be the best horse in this race.
Yeah.
And I just don't like him on the inside.
I think if there's any horse that's on the inside, though, that's going to have a chance, it's going to be a deep closer.
Yes, and he could do it.
That's what Renegade is.
Yeah. I just don't like him to win.
I'll add something for you here as well. One thing that I love about Kentucky Derby Day is obviously we get the preps all year long, and then we show up, and this is a great day of racing well beyond just the one race.
Yes.
Okay, so we get to see lots of horses come back, 3, 4, 5-year-olds or whatever, and champions, and we get to see a lot of those come in and race. But we also get to see other horses from the prep races come in and find other spots because they just didn't pan out to be a Derby horse, or they're not at that level yet, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to race 1. I was all over the number 11 Power Shift in there. Power Shift dominated that field, looked very good for Rapoli and Todd Pletcher in that race. And where did that horse come from? Came out of the Tampa Bay Derby. Okay, so to me, that in the Tampa Bay Derby, this horse finished a badly beaten 6th. And look, this is not that field. I get it, but we're looking and trying to give some additional context. But if you look, I think it furthers the Puma, who is out, and Further Ado, who was just coming back and just used that as a prep, right? Yeah. To get it. So I think that bodes well. Now let's go to race 2. Okay, when you go to race 2 today, we had the number 8 in that race. And that horse was a huge favorite. And that horse's name, I'm trying to find it here.
Fantastic.
Yes. So that was the horse Taptastic. Where did that horse come from? That horse finished 3rd in the Arkansas Derby. Right. Okay. And that horse got beaten pretty soundly in that race. Didn't finish on the board. Right. Mm-hmm. And by horses who you look at and they're like, these horses have not been got beaten by a horse who just won a maiden race.
Yep.
So my point being, I've said this all along. One, Oakland Park is a unique animal.
Yep.
In that track plays very weirdly compared to all the rest of the tracks. And you can't always trust the Arkansas Derby, but I think that look at that horse coming back. What does that say about Renegade and Silent Tactic in there, who finished just in front of Taptastic? Maybe it's nothing, but I want to say that maybe that field wasn't as good as it looks like.
There you go. Yeah, fair point. Absolutely. Yep. Exactly.
All right. Paul Paul is cross-pollinating here
Yeah, geez.
between us and Colin Sheen's new venture.
Yeah.
So he says, I'm looking at Colin Sheen's doubling down model picks for the next couple of races. Can you comment on moving on up in race 7 and Vassy in race 9 and banishing in race 10? Who wants to take any one of those?
7,
I will
9.
say, I
seven.
have moving on up at 12-1. I've got him third in my model. I've got the horse rated really well, especially considering he is a long shot at 12-1, but he's in my top 3. In that race, I got to say I'm locking in on Portfolio Duration, the 3 horse.
Yeah,
That's
me too.
my best horse at the distance, my best horse at the surface, my best horse in the last race. Jockey trainer, sire, all that, getting closer to the pace, getting a jockey upgrade, 3 race improvement. That horse, if I'm going to single a horse, he's up for contention there. But I do like the 7 in an underneath move there.
Yeah.
Any comments on that, guys?
Especially for on the board, on the board, definitely. I mean, he's at Churchill Downs. He came in second, at third to Simply in Front and Pin Up Betty. He just seems to keep losing to Pin Up Betty. That's the but has run in multiple different distances. Sappy tried him at 5.5, and he ran well. I mean, last time. Now he's bringing him back to a mile. Underneath, I think he's a great play. I think just the problem is when he runs into horses like Pin Up Betty, he's just a little short.
Yeah. I don't have that horse rated very highly at all. It's maybe 5th for me. I've got 4 horses at least above it. I don't like it at all. I'll talk to one of them though, and that is Banishing.
Oh, sure.
I think it's a big ask. Look, Banishing is, a great Godolphin horse. Last race in the Godolphin Mile was in the Saudi Cup, won the Godolphin Mile, but in the Saudi Cup did not race well at all. Has been off for a while now, comes back this spot. I love seeing a race out of these horses coming out of the UAE before I do anything with them. And this is a really tough field to me for that horse to come back and to be able to do anything with.
So much.
I think it's one of the most competitive of the day. And to me, if I was picking one single for the day, give me Knightsbridge.
Yeah. I think a few people have made that. And you also have Cornucopian in there, who's last.
I can go too. That's the only upset potential I see.
I've got that one underneath as well. That's one of the ones that I like. I like Imagination as well. I
like Disco Time a lot, right? But all of these horses come after Knightsbridge.
Right? I mean,
if everybody here is racing for second, and here's the other thing is you got to. I have this horse, I believe, second, no, third. Disruptor, the number 5. So remember, Disruptor was in yesterday, and they decided in a race to where this horse probably would have been a favorite and could have won, and they decided to scratch out yesterday and run here today. And again, here we are, Rapoli, Pletcher, and Ortiz. Where have we heard that before?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. And then
Knightsbridge, Ryan, take that one to the bank. I think it's the best single of the day.
And then let's complete the thought there. If you guys have any comments, we're going backwards a race here to race 9. He was bringing up Vassy at 10-1, the 10 horse in the American Turf G1. I like Remember Mamba as my top horse there. I've got Stark Contrast as my second horse. Vassy is it's a huge field, so Vassy is like in my top 5, but that's about as far as I can do. I would do a deep ticket on this field because even though I've got number 1 being Remember Mamba, he's starting way on the outside, and I think this is a way more even field than the 10, right? The 10 is where you single. I think this race is a race where you go a little bit wider, and you could include a horse like Vassy, but he's definitely not my top ad. But Remember Mamba, Stark Contrast, Final Score, those types of horses I'm adding in. Greenwich Village, and then Vassy may fall in there as like the 5th. Nice hat, Tim.
I had to grab my hat here because Sean and I are going to talk about Mere Ridge. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
So, you know, we Sean and I, when Sean was here for Keeneland, we got to go and visit one of our favorite places and see Mill Ridge Farm, and you know, check in on Oscar Performance while we were there. But one thing is they have a great relationship with the Almermans, and stark contrast is a horse that you know grew up there. I absolutely love this horse. This horse finished second in the Jeff Ruby, but if you look before that. Even though this horse has been ridden by KK on a regular basis.
Now he's got Flavian.
But on a serious note, I absolutely love this horse. And, you know, I'm just glad, and Sean knows it might not have happened, but I'm just absolutely glad that they did not win the Jeff Ruby and decide to go to the Derby and do what they did last year with Endlessly. And you know, take a turf horse and put him on the wrong surface. This horse wants to be on turf, and this is the right spot for this horse. And I absolutely love him.
And by the way, I don't know if anyone saw earlier the 2000 Guineas. There's a young horse who's just going to be a phenom named Bo Howe. And who came in second in that race? G-Stad, the winner of the who still ran a huge race to a very, very talented young horse who's now 4 for 4, right? Who's the only horse the Star Contrast has lost to on the turf? That's G-Stad. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, so even the caliber that he's been keeping has just been, you know. So you remember last year when we did our Breeders' Cup? That was one of my singles of the day, and I said it on the broadcast, and I'll say it again. Stott is a stud, and that horse is absolutely amazing. And this horse finished a decent second, beaten by less than a length to that horse, who is just incredible. And I think very highly of this horse. I think he's got a great future ahead. And I think the folks at Mill Ridge, I think they made a post about all the horses they've got running this week, and this is one of them they think highly of. Right. Donald, just to answer your question there, right? You can put every horse in first if you want. You can do an all superfecta. It would cost you like thousands and thousands of dollars, but you can do it. You don't have to just put one horse. You can put literally all 20 horses in first, put all 20 in second. I mean, whatever numbers you want, you can put them in. It doesn't mean you can put the whole field in every spot if you had to.
Yeah. It same goes for an exact or trifecta.
Just to be perfectly clear, and all in the Derby is $465,120.
See, there you go. So if you have it, go ahead.
That was at $5. Let me crank that down and make it. I'm sorry, I had the $5. So it only cost you $93,024.
Bargain.
I'd still find a way to lose that ticket. By the
bargain.
It only cost you $93,000 going all.
Bargain.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to check out for a moment. I'll see you in a little bit here. I'll let you guys take control here. We also got race 6. How many minutes
to go?
Okay, my phone is up to date. That's good to see. I'll be back in about 10.
Sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. All right. How you doing, my friend? Good?
I'm doing good. I mean, I've been right there, and just
you have been right there,
In that last race, as I came back, I hope more of the people played that one. Before I went and put my ribs on the smoker, I threw down a bet on yellow card, and I'm happy with the 5-2 we got.
Yeah,
it was 2-1 when I placed it, so we got.
I thought I had the exact cold there with him in litigation, but litigation just doesn't seem to be the same horse since he came from Florida.
No, absolutely not. And Joe Shiesty is one that I said you could play underneath there. So hopefully somebody get that.
And this is one of those things. This is great for our listeners to listen to. I got a text. Okay. And he said, Mario Gutierrez, he said, he just can't get that horse home. I said, wait a minute. I said, watch that replay again. I said, what more could Mario possibly have done? He put him in the perfect spot. The horse didn't respond. That's called horse racing. He gave him the perfect trip. He was right there. If he's the horse in Florida, he maybe wins that by 2 lengths going away. But Mario had him there. He just didn't have the horse. You know, exactly. Like, what is a jockey? He put him in the perfect position to win. He just didn't win. And that's part of racing, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean, he couldn't have done anything more, but except he put him in the perfect spot. That's all you want as your jockey.
Well, we got the Knicks Go coming up next, Sean.
Yes, we do. Very exciting.
Going a 1-turn mile at Churchill. 4 years.
I hope the Knicks go away.
Not won a graded sweepstakes in 25 and 26.
Yes, sir. Yeah, at a mile. Yes. Very excited about this.
Sean, I think we might be on the same horse here.
I think so. And that would be number 10, Capital Idea.
For our friend Junior.
Yes, and Billy Mott. Now, this is going to be a very interesting race because just like yesterday, this would be a great opportunity for Junior to kind of play out the he's looking greatly forward to this race because this will kind of help him plot out his kind of strategic thinking for the Chief. You know, like where's working, where's not, where's, you know, and I think this horse is it's one of those horses too where he just keeps getting better. You know what I'm saying? Which and I love this. Like Tim says this, which is interesting. 93, 92. Tampa, he came in second, but it's a pentathlon, and that's no thing. But then he went right back up to 97 in the Go Sapper, just missing against Grande, you know. But the horse is improving with each and every start. And
Grande ran big.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. So I think this horse it's the right spot. Woolsey's a great owner of Billy Mott. It's been there for a while. Classic Empire, who loved Churchill Downs. I just think this horse has been working great. Had a great work at Churchill Downs. I think this horse is definitely the go horse.
Yes, like that one a lot. And then when you go beyond that one, I think even for the win, I just agree with you there. But this is a tough race, and I think you can go in a lot of different ways. But I like all the way on the outside Moonlight.
Yeah.
So this is a horse who, if you look back, was in the Grade 3 Louisiana and came back in the Grade 3 Mineshaft at Fairgrounds, and those were pretty well beaten. But look at who this horse has been racing against. I mean, that was a hit show on top in the last one.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a different field here. And this horse should be competitive, going to be closing a little bit late. And we know we've been saying that for a while. It's difficult to close. So that's why, to me, it's more of an underneath play. But I find it interesting that Jose gets on this.
Yes.
Because Jose does not ride much for Chris Block.
Chris Block, no.
But if you look at Churchill, he's had 5 mounts. He's won 2 of the 5.
Yep. Yeah.
So if Chris has a good horse, he's like, Jose, can you ride for me?
Yeah, absolutely. And he loves Churchill Downs. Look at him, 3 wins, 1 second. All his top players are Churchill.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 in the exacta at Churchill.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just think that this is one you can't take off of your ticket. Jose rode this one the last time that he was here at Churchill, and that was in the Cherokee Mile. And he came from deep in that one, threw up a 99 buyer speed figure, and won the race, going away over Dragoon Guard, who is your favorite in here right now.
Yeah, and I didn't believe it or not. I have him. I have him second, but like even like tour player, you know, getting Flavian Pratt 4 out of 5 at Churchill Downs. You know, and notice he's never lost when he's had a Frenchman aboard him. You know, so he's just 4 for 4 when he's had a French jockey with him. So and he's got Flavian back again. You know, so and he beat Dragoon Guard last time. You know, so no at Colonial, so no reason why he can't beat him again. You know, so
yeah, I definitely agree. That's another horse that I have underneath. So that would be my next play after the 11s.
Renee Lynn activist says, "I'm feeling happy about So Happy. Look out for Happy." Well, man, what a story! I mean, if that horse ever won. Penelope Miller and her dad and her mom breeding the horse. Then you have Mark Glatt, who just lost his wife. Then you got 60-year-old Mike Smith. I mean, like
he would be the oldest jockey to ever win a Derby race and would surpass Shoemaker.
stories about stories, you know?
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of good feel-good stories there. And, it's one of the things I actually talked about in my video. If you go back and watch my spotlight video on So Happy, I actually talked about the stories here and about how, the stories on Derby Day are one of my favorite things, and I enjoy that. But look, while this horse definitely checked some boxes in that last one in the Santa Anita Derby, I just wonder how good that field really was. And when I'm looking at this race, the thing that concerns me the most is Run Happy. If you look at Run Happy in this field, okay, as a sire, okay, all sires, out of all of Run Happy's progeny, the average winning distance is 6.6 furlongs.
Yeah.
And of every sire in the Kentucky Derby field, that is last.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that you can't throw a horse that likes to route, and you've got ones that like to go shorter for that average. But getting the 1.25 miles is, for a Run Happy, to me, starts to throw things into question. And that's why this one, at the most, an underneath possibility in the superfecta may be the try. But that's how I see it. I would not talk anybody off of it. If you love the horse, you bet it. You're never going to try to change your mind on what you like.
Yeah, here's my other thing too, is that these sheets that everyone puts together, and I respect them greatly, right? Every year they make the Santa Anita Derby a -2 grade, whatever it is, whatever the damn, you could have like 6 mules running the damn thing and have it a -2, right? You know what I'm saying? Like last year they said Sovereignty's numbers weren't good enough. His thing was like a 1 or 2, where journalism was a -3 or whatever. It was the perfect race for journalism, and then when they got to the Derby down the stretch, what happened? Sovereignty handed his head again to him. You know what I mean? Those numbers to me, Churchill Downs is a whole different ball of wax by itself. You know what I'm saying? It really is. Right. Just because you can run a Keeneland, just because you can run a Santa Anita, just because you run in New York does not mean you can run a Churchill. It's a whole different track by itself. Yeah. So. Hey, Frank Toronto, how are you, buddy? Yeah, the Bruins, we'll be okay. We're on their way up. Sam Spades, his father, further ado my pick. Hey, you're right with Tim.
I'm with you. That's my pick, despite what Jonathan Paley is saying here. Jonathan, look, I think you can find just about every horse in the field, and you can find the chink in their armor. And to me, that is so overblown. If that's a red flag for you, and I'm talking about to me, I'm not trying to say you're wrong. My saying I disagree doesn't make me right and you wrong. I'm not saying that at all, but I just don't believe it.
But does have a win on the track. It was really
exactly. In a race, Sean, to where they said he wasn't feeling good.
Right. Yeah. Right. So valid.
Yeah, Jonathan. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just we're on air and we're talking horses, so I'm just talking about it. In my opinion, I'm not trying to say.
I think anyone, and Tim and I have talked about this even at Keeneland, like before the show. I said that Tim knows this was my exact words. I said he's going to win the Bluegrass by like 10 lengths, and I said then we have no idea how he's going to run at Churchill. You know what I'm saying? so we don't know how he's going to run at Churchill, but if he runs that race and he's worked very good in the morning on it so far, no thing to say that he doesn't like the track, but you still got to run the race. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we'll
here's the way I look at it. When you're looking at further ado, everybody's expecting a bounce, but what if he pairs figures? What if, John, like a lot of horses to win this race in here are going to have to move forward.
Right.
What if further ado moves forward?
Yeah, right.
He destroys this field.
Yeah.
To me, if you look at every horse, and it's not just because he has the highest last race speed figure, but if you look at every horse and you look at the races they've run, out of all of those races, that Bluegrass is the only one that wins this one.
Yeah. Now, the one thing he has it going against him, which is kind of funny because even Tim will laugh at this, in the 2020s, right? In the 2020s, right? The horse, every horse that's won the Derby didn't win his last race, which is so weird. You know what I'm saying? Like it hasn't helped to win your last race before the Derby, which is that's mind-boggling. But somehow in the 2020 era here, no horse yet has won after winning their last race. So I think that's just interesting.
I would agree.
Yeah. I think all of them can, Joe. I don't think there's any problem with those guys, you know, at least getting the mile quarter. Can they win? Who knows? But, you know, now there's an interesting horse right there. If we can talk about that for a minute. A lot of the people are on this horse and emerging market. If you're an emerging market fan, you really had to hate the fact that Always a Runner won yesterday because now the two start thing, everyone's gonna think, oh, every horse is gonna do this now. You know what I'm saying? And she was the best filly clearly, but there's 20 boys in that starting gate. You know what I'm saying? It's a different beast, you know, in terms of and even Chad Brown has said kind of that he looks like a filly. The emerging market he's built more like a filly than a male. You know what I'm saying? So when you're coming out of that gate, you got 20 horses going and you got a smaller horse. That can be tough for a horse, you know, in terms to absorb. If he takes hits, that can be a tough one. So, you know, what's your superfecta, Tim?
So I'm gonna put this up here. I alluded to a little bit earlier, but I'm gonna go out on a limb. I don't like posting pics and everything. I mean, we do what we do here in the lounge, but I'm gonna share this with everybody here. This is the way I'm gonna attack the race. Yeah, I am going to play Further Ado over Commandment, and then you can see I'm going to use 5 horses underneath in third and fourth, 1, 7, 8, 12, 15. So I'm going to use Renegade, Denom Bourbon, So Happy, Chief Wallaby, and Emerging Market. Exactly. So those are the horses I'm going to use underneath. That's a $20 ticket for superfecta. Then I'm going to play another $20 ticket, and I'm going to swap that second and third positions. I'm going to put Commandment in third, and I'm going to put all those horses in second. So I'm going to play at least $40 on the superfecta there. That's a $20 ticket. I'm going to play the 6 both in second and in third. And maybe, depending on how things go between now and then, if I don't run out of money, I might move Commandment to the third and just play all those horses second and third. But you notice I'm not moving Further Ado. If he loses, I lose.
There you go. Yeah, you have to draw a line. You have to be. Tim has always been conviction, and that is what's awesome. Rachel has 6 or so horses I like, but not sure how to play them. Rachel, we'll ask you, is there any horse that you like the most out of that 6? Or are there, like Tim loves Further Ado, right? Is there any one of those 6 that you're like, okay, that's probably the one I think is going to win of this group? That might help you start making your bets a little bit, you know, in terms of if you can tell us kind of, and you do what you want. We're just only trying to help. But if there's like one particular horse, we're like, out of those 6, that's the one I kind of like the most to win. You can kind of make your ticket kind of around that horse, because to do 6 horses in a box, that's pretty expensive. You know what I'm saying? It gets pretty expensive. You could hit it, but it's going to take money to hit it.
Yeah, and we're about 3 minutes out. If anybody's interested in this next race, I'm going to play a $2 try key. I'm keying the 10 with 2, 6, 11. That'll be $12. Yeah,
he and I have the same exact bet. That's incredible. That the real mystery horse to me in this race is that I don't like him as a horse, but it'd be interesting. Oh, good Lord. What do you go? Yeah. So hold on a second. Sorry.
Phone's ringing, dude.
Thank you, Donnie.
That's Churchill. That's Kelly calling me. No, they can, what do you call it? This is a BU, right? He scratched out the other day to run in this spot. I think this spot is actually harder than the one he was in. So I don't get, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you, Tim?
It does.
I was like, why is he in this spot when it was in it was an easier spot the other day, you know?
Yep. Bienvenido, Rafael.
Huh?
I was just saying, welcome to Rafael here. He was saying saludos from Puerto Rico.
Oh, welcome, Rafael. How are you, bud? Mm-hmm. I looked at that and said, okay. So you have Further Ado and Commandment. So you can kind of do like Tim did. If you really like those 2, kind of put them in like first, second, and then put everyone else behind them, you know, and then see if because you have to take conviction in a 20 horse field. So, you can do 1, 2, 1, 2, and then like put the 4 in the back and third and fourth, or you can put them in just an exacta, or you can put, exactly.
Yeah, the more horses you want to play, and the lack of having singles in position, that ticket goes up significantly. Just to give you an example, that was a $20 ticket playing the base $1 amount. And if you just add one other horse to first, now obviously you double the price, and now it's $40. And that's having another single in there with commandment. So it's $40 per position. So you've got to be able to single in my opinion, and the way I attack it is try to single in 2 spots. And the only other way I would attack it is if I loved Further Ado and Commandment enough to where I think they're both good enough to win, but they should both be there, then what I would do is I would play the 6-18 with the 6-18 with the other horses.
Yeah.
And Sean knows that's my favorite trifecta format.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Curtis says, Potente.
If that horse hits the board, I lose all my bets.
Yeah. Hey, 20. Yeah, I can say this.
I got him in my box.
Yeah. I can say this: 22-1 Baffert, and you could get a lot worse. I remember saying you get a lot worse than
2 wins, 1 second place. Absolutely.
I don't have them, but hey, 22-1. If you like them, go with them. I'm not talking.
But it's that conversation we were having before. The Derby is so even. There's about 9 to 12 horses that we think have the potential to win it, and you gotta cut somewhere. So I've got him in, but I don't have Renegade or Commandment. So I'm really, I'm risking it going for longs. But on the other hand, you got to play it how you see it, and we all have different opinions. John Paley checking in. Great. I saw John Paley. He was joining us a couple years back. I remember. I think the lives we have for Derby and BC.
Yeah, John's great.
To see you, John.
Yeah, John, I get it. But when you're playing superfectas, it's like to go 2 singles. I understand that there's a lot of losing tickets. It's not one losing ticket. Actually, everywhere I have the multiples, which is 20 combinations, I've got 19 losing tickets. And that's the thing you have to understand is in a pari-mutuel game, the more you box, it's like when you box horses, like if you're boxing 3 horses in a trifecta as an example, that's 6 combinations, right? So if you're looking at 6 combinations, basically, even if you win the trifecta, you had 1 winning ticket and 5 losing ones. But you're playing the odds. I'm okay with having losing tickets in the superfecta and the Derby in a race that is the only typical race of the year that I play significant superfectas, because the superfecta, even when the favorites come in like last year, the top 3 horses were the top 3 horses. And then you had a logical horse in 4th and it paid $1,700. And it's like, I'll take that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Foreman's got road rage going on behind him.
Yeah, I'm observing some pretty crazy stuff in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shelley, to answer Shelly's question, Shelly 4, 8, 12. That's all you need. I go 3 deep there, Shelly. Maybe even 2, but the stark contrast. You got Flavian now. You don't care.
By the way, we're racing here, and right now we've got Scotland out on the lead about a length. The quarter was 22-3. They're already that far in. 7 Will Take It is down on the rail, and Tour Player comes up outside that one, now moving into second. The half was in 45-2. Still Scotland out front as Tour Player draws up alongside from far back. Here comes Prince of Power also getting into gear, coming up into third. Will Take It still down on the rail in 4th. Also getting into gear, here comes BU on the outside at 9-2. Tour Player, though, takes him into the stretch and starts to pull away a little bit. Dragoon Guard is now trying to also get engaged, moving into second. From further back, Moonlight is just getting into gear and coming on late, but it's going to be too little, too late. 6-11-2-7.
6-11-2-7. Okay.
My top 2 was the exacta box.
Yeah.
And my third was how about that?
Yeah, I like Tour Player. Yeah.
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 That would have been a trifecta for me if I would have played it my usual way. But I was also
You say
pondering.
way too many ifs on the plan. You got to play them. I would hit that. I would hit that. I would hit that. You got to start playing your. You got to start playing your bets.
But I will say this. I mean, if I play it the way I usually do, but I was going to play that with Dragoon Guard on top, and I started running out of time, and I decided to scrap it, and I'm glad I did, because Dragoon Guard did not get there.
Okay.
And by the way, I was mistaken. Let me say this: my top pick ended up finishing actually in like 6th place. The other 3 were my underneath horses.
Right. Now, here's an interesting thing, folks. Here's a race within a race. Okay. And this can happen. Sometimes this can be frustrating and this can be things, but when you have the same connections, okay? So Junior just tried to go 7 wide, right? Around that turn, okay? And he didn't get very far, okay? That was kind of the move that Sovereignty kind of made. He was in the same path, only there was a lot of horses behind him. Now Junior can go back to Billy and say, listen, dude, we just tried that path. That's not good. Everyone on the inside was moving. We weren't moving. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried to, right? So it's a game within a game. That's what I'm saying. Like, so a lot of Junior's mounts today, a lot of any of these riders' mounts today, okay? Their head is in one race. You know what I'm saying? And especially when you got the same connections, you know what I'm saying? They'll say, okay, take them across, try to get them outside. Is that path good? Nope. He'll go back and say, nope, I got to keep him further in because out is not the place to be. Where last year, Sovereignty was halfway in the middle of the track where there was exactly where you're supposed to be. You know, so sometimes people can be like, oh, your boy came in 5th. Whoa, maybe he was told to be out there. I mean, so he's kind of seeing where the track is playing, what areas are carrying, what not, so that when the big race comes, he knows exactly where to put them.
Yeah.
Little game within the game, you know?
Yeah. So this question out here, how much does $1 superfecta pay? So superfecta, I believe 10-cent superfecta at Churchill Downs, right, Sean?
Yep.
So that means if you play $1, it will be 10 times what a 10-cent superfecta will pay.
Yep.
But you also got to remember that what it pays is based on the share of the superfecta pool that has been established by all of the bettors. So if you play the most common superfecta combination within the pool, and that's what pays out, you're going to be getting a smaller chunk of that because so many people are going to have it's like any pool. Like this is all of horse racing. There's different pools, a win, place, a show, a trifecta, an exacta. All of these are based on how many people were betting a specific combination or series of combinations. So if you get one of the lower bet ones, you're going to get a much bigger return, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and it's so much about exactly. So you could have this is funny, just to give you a great story. There was one time where 1-9 beat a 30-1, beat a 20-1, and beat a 40-1. Right? The superfecta paid $10. Right? Yeah. And that was for like because the 1-9 was so far ahead of everybody that everyone else had everyone behind him, and it was just picking numbers behind him. So it's the cumulative of the 4 odds and how they're being played in the superfecta that counts. You know.
Yeah, and in that case, right, a 1-9, 1-9, everybody's looking at that, and they're probably zeroing on that horse to be top, and then they just layer in combinations underneath, and that combination, even though it was. People are looking at this combination. They're saying, "Oh, that horse is 30-1," but what is it really, right? That's 30-1 to win that horse. So playing that horse underneath in a place in a show as an underneath play in a superfecta, that's not the odds. That's just the odds of that horse to win. Right. That's the only place that you see that really reflected. But you can also use that as a gauge for some of these other pools, right? You can look at it as a gauge, like, oh, if that horse is 30-1. And some of the other odds are not so bad, like the favorite is 5-2 and the next one is 9-2 or something like that. And you add that horse in, then maybe you're going to get something better. But like in your case, 1-9, of course, all those other horses are going to be 20-1. The next horse is probably going to be 12-1.
Right. Exactly. All right, Foreman.
So
Here's a
there's a
great
lot of
question for you. Here's a great
Yes, sir.
question for you. Grammy says to us, did you ever just have a feeling about a horse when you see them? I've had that happen and my horse won, but when I overthink, I blow it. Gut instinct, I guess.
Yeah, this is probably a better question for you, Sean or Tim, because I often look at things in terms of data and numbers, right?
So,
That's why my nickname's the formula, because
yeah,
I've got
right.
all the different data models I'm trying to use to figure out, where's a horse going to have a statistical advantage.
Yeah,
And for me, I'll look at that, but the overthinking, absolutely. I am immersed in gigabytes of spreadsheets trying to figure out, what angle is going to be the one that I want to use here. And I'll have like basic formulas where it tells me 1, 2, 3, what order they should come in. But I also know statistically, maybe that doesn't happen as often as I would like. So I'm stretching out and looking somewhere else to try to put, you're going to already see the wheels are turning way too much. And I'm going to bet myself out of, maybe a smart shot. My best formula for Churchill Downs would have given me the trifecta this morning, but instead I went in a slightly different direction and missed it. So already I've done that to myself today.
Yeah. To give Grammy a great explanation here. Okay. Not only do bettors get it wrong, but owners get it wrong. I'll give you a great story here for you. There was a horse that our friends at Centennial Farms own named Seattle Orr. Okay. They bought him in 1990 90. Yeah, exactly. He was born in 90. They bought him in 91. Okay. They spent $250,000 for him, which in 1990 was not bad at all. That's like 507. That's almost the 750 now with inflation and everything. Okay,
absolutely.
They thought this horse couldn't. They bought 4 horses, and this horse couldn't lose. Julie Crone rode it. I mean, this was going to be the horse. Like, look out, the Derby. This could be our Derby winner that we've been waiting for, and he won 1 race. Okay. And the other 3 horses, not bad horses. We just hope, they can, okay. One of the other horses was Colonial Affair, who won the Belmont. So think of that. The one that they thought was going to be like the maestro of their group won only 1 race, an allowance race, right? But the one that they thought, he's good. He's out of Pleasant Colony. He could be a good one. Wins the Belmont, and becomes a Hall of Fame horse. So even owners, Grammy, not just bettors, even owners and trainers get it wrong. Kelly Kipp was put in a $50,000 claiming race, his first race by Alan Jerkins, one of the greatest. And he became a multiple grade 1 winner. So it's interesting,
Yeah, and I mean, we could talk about another horse too. I was as soon as you started talking about how much they purchased this horse for and how many of the races the horse won. We were looking at race 10 today because I believe Paul Nolan asked us about a horse that Colin Sheehan had.
Yeah.
And I was looking across all the names and boom, horse 4, Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The horse went from Steve Asmussen to Michael McCarthy back to Steve Asmussen. And I believe this horse was originally purchased for wasn't he purchased for like $1 million or 1.25 million?
Yeah.
And the horse he's won 4 races, but only 1 graded stakes race, and it was a G3. And he's sort of hung around. He'll get a 4th place, a 3rd place, but definitely not what you thought you were going to get for a $1.25 million horse. This was a horse that was on the Derby Trail last year, but really just sort of fell off. He got 3rd in the Alashiba. But again, when you pay for a horse to be that much, you expect it to win these.
Yeah, exactly. The Green Monkey, they paid $16.5 million for, and he won 1 race. You know what I mean? It's not.
I can give you a good example of this one as well, Sean, that you will understand from our time at Keeneland here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So Sean and I were at Keeneland on Friday, and they were having a stakes race, and there's a big horse coming in from overseas named Notable Speech.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Charlie Appleby horse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
William Buick came in to ride it, and the horse was a huge favorite in the race. Yeah. And we're standing there at the paddock, and I kept telling Sean, I cannot believe how good Zulu Kingdom looks.
It looked amazing.
I cannot believe how good Zulu Kingdom
amazing. Yeah.
And it's just like, this horse just looks like a friggin' monster.
He
and it's
did.
like, Notable Speech is supposed to win this race for fun. Yeah, Zulu Kingdom destroyed him.
Yeah.
Zulu Kingdom
And,
is
and
a
that
beast.
horse just looked friggin' incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
These
good as
guys
you
even
ever
know,
want a
by
horse
the
to
way.
look, that's what he looked like.
Yeah. Even when they know I said this all year. When I saw Sovereignty as a 2-year-old, I said this guy's going to be, once he gets it, he's going to be really good. As soon as I saw him run that race at Churchill Downs in that 2-year-old juvenile, I remember I said to you guys, I said, this horse is going to win the Derby. They're not going to touch this horse. And you can just see in like horses where it's a cool feeling. Rachel has a question. See, I'll let you do this one, Tim, first, and for me weigh in. What about Chief Wall adding blinkers? I looked at some of his past races and he seems to lack focus, which is obviously why they added blinkers.
Look, so I'm not a huge fan of changing equipment going into a huge race.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's a reason for everything sometimes. And it's like the one thing I want to look at is, why are they putting blinkers on? Is this a trainer who does this on a regular basis that just can, kind of throws blinkers on willy-nilly and just trying to figure a horse out? And I don't think that's it at all. I think with this particular horse, this is not a trainer who's just going to do that. And then from everything that I've seen in the works on the track, he looks much more focused. And if you go back and you look at the Florida Derby, there was a little bit of hesitance. He had a spot and he had the ability to split the Puma and Commandment. And he hesitated. Mm-hmm. And if you watch him after the wire, Chief Wallaby still had lots of run. And that's why the stretch out and things now. But are the blinkers enough that's going to make him go between horses? I mean, that's the question. If every trainer knew the answer to that, they would throw the blinkers on a much more successful basis. And they don't. It's clearly why they're doing it and something to keep in mind. Here's the way I would look at it. I wouldn't factor the blinkers into, unless you're just totally against it. But if you're not a person who's just, I'm throwing a horse out who has equipment, well, there's your answer. But if you're just trying to figure horses out, that is not something that would concern me right now.
Yeah, I will say this, right? I'm close to the horse, so I'm a little bit biased. But what do you call it? Even Caitlin Free, who I respect so much, she's picking Chief Wallaby. Because she said since he's been with those blinkers, right? He has been such a different horse. He used to throw his neck like sometimes, like he's not throwing his neck. He's running straight. He's running like it's almost like the Sierra Leone effect when they put the blinkers on. He finally said, "Okay, I'm not going to hit everybody. I'm actually going to run past them, not hit them." Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And what do you call it? I'm not saying he's Sierra Leone. But what do you call it? Just a difference in his blinkers. The other thing is, too, if you look at his prep races, and I've said this from day one, because someone asked me earlier, why is he on top? That Billy had him on the rail purposely, kept him on the rail to conserve everything for this race. And he's never brought him off the rail. So I think today is the day where they're going to let the things go. If he's good enough, great. But he's not going to be on the rail like he has the past couple of prep races. I think those blinkers are going to help him focus and get him more laser straight. But we'll see.
I won't disagree. Hey, Formula, you started up this broadcast today. Who's on the door? Who's manning the door and selling the tickets? Because they'll just let anybody in.
Oh my God. They'll let Alex in here? Oh my God.
I forgot to pay the ticket taker. I'm sorry, guys. That's on me.
Oh.
We can always put him in timeout,
Yeah, jeez. How are we doing, Alex?
Good to see Alex.
Happy Derby Day, bud.
My buddy Alex and I hung out on Bluegrass Day.
Yeah.
Had a great time.
Very cool.
He's a great guy, Alex. We joke with him because we can.
Donald, the $1 superfecta is not a waste if you really know, like if you can really think that 4 horses are going to be that's not a waste. Yeah. In a field of 20, $1 superfecta will cost you so much. In a field of 20, it's not worth it because your numbers will get so high that you can't. But if you had a real determined feeling, I'm just saying, let's say if you like my superfecta, you said these are the 4 horses that are going to come in 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm determined of it. And that's not bad if you think the 4. But if you just start going 5, 6, 7 with $1, you're going to be up in the thousands before you even
bloat.
Yeah, exactly. And it may not even pay that. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, that's why you got to have some singles. I will say this: I'm not a superfecta player, but there's not a derby that goes by that I'm not playing superfectas.
Yeah,
because
right.
you have the potential to, if you're right, you cash big. And like last year, I had a super skinny ticket and we cashed a $1,700 superfecta. So
yeah. There you go.
Alex is right. You have to have an opinion. You have to be able to structure the ticket in a way to where you can spread underneath, but you can't spread in every position. You just like me. I'm singling 1 horse on top. I have another horse that I'm going to single across in positions, and I have 5 horses I'm going to use. It's $20 each position I use the 1 horse for. That's it.
Yeah.
It's painful, but you got to cut somewhere.
Exactly, you do.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you guys. So Happy is taking in a lot of money. Went from 15 to 1 to co-favorite at 5 to 1 now. Why? I think that's
Santa Anita.
That horse took a lot of early money, and I don't think it continues.
I think it's the story. I think it's the story of like Mike, of the trainer losing his wife. It sounds like an Olympic story. You know what I'm saying? No, but I'm saying, but it's a great story. I think a lot of people, and he won the Santa Anita Derby. And all that stuff. I think a lot of people have really heard the story and are like, okay, this horse can win. You know, it's a great story.
A Baffert horse.
If you listen to Jerry Bailey on the broadcast yesterday, they were telling people to pick horses by their favorite color and the name of the horse. So there you go. Alex said the name. Who doesn't want to like So Happy?
Right.
You need a real grump to not like So Happy.
I would prefer a horse named So Grumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to the same place. Yep.
And Ronald Ali can ride it every single time.
All right.
There you go. So what do we got next?
We've got the 3 of us here.
Yeah.
And we have yet to really dive into race 8.
Race 8. Okay. Let's do
Is that the Pate Mile? I believe it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
race
is the
8.
Pate Mile.
Great White is scratched out for some reason. We don't know.
Yeah.
So Sean
He's
Patrick
running
Nolan.
both races.
Yeah. Why not? It's a good payday if you do. Who do you like in this race? Who's your top play? Crude Velocity, I believe, is the morning line favorite at 5 to 2, followed by Englishman. But there's a field of 11 after the scratches. Who's your play here? Who do you like?
I'm going with Crude Velocity. I think this horse, again, he's going from 6.5 to a mile, and some of the California races I will question, but this horse, to me, I just saw the way I watched both replays. The horse doesn't lie sometimes, you know what I'm saying, and the way he won his first race. He got it right in the nose, but that was his first race. And then he goes up against winners. Now, I'm not saying that field was, but just the way it flowed, just took him over like that. To me, this horse just seems like the real deal. And I'm a little bit, I think Englishman's going to be, it could really get out in the field, but there's some speed in this race, So I think this sets up better for Crude Velocity than it does for Englishman stepping up to this level. But it'd be interesting to see if Englishman can rate.
Tim?
He's not rating. He's on the rail. He's got Jose. He's going.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. But if someone tried to,
and he doesn't need to rate because there is a little bit of speed in the 7, and you could say there's speed with the 2, but maybe even the 3 goes, but none of them have his speed. And the way the track is playing, to me, I'm definitely going to take a shot at beating Crude Velocity with Englishman. I love Englishman in this spot. I like the way that Jose's been riding. I mean, I'm struggling to bet against the guy. And this horse, since that last race, that optional claimer at the fairgrounds, has been working lights out. Bullet after bullet, and then a nice maintenance coming in. And I just think that when you look at all of the other horses here, yes, Crude Velocity threw up that triple-digit speed figure and looks really good. But, you know, I don't think I've seen Giroux on a horse in the 2 days up until this one. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, but Bob brings him in because he has ridden this horse both times, and
he's been in Santa Anita.
I get the speed figure say it, but you know, if I'm looking at Englishmen coming in from the fairgrounds, or I'm looking at a West Coast horse coming into Churchill, I'm going against the West Coast horse every time.
Yeah,
and
in
this case, I'm against the West Coast horse with a horse that I think is better than the other one anyway. And oh, by the way, Sean, somebody tell me who the sire of number 1 Englishman is.
Ooh, could that be Maxfield?
Yeah. Maxfield, my boy. Yeah.
Where have we heard that before?
Yeah, exactly. Huh?
We're having some conversations about
$400,000 in speed.
We might have a Maxfield horse coming up later in a big race.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe the 7 horse in that race.
That's right.
That's right, baby.
Yeah. So I'm with you, Tim. I'm taking the Englishman number 1 as well.
Yeah.
And I looked at Crude Velocity, but I give the tip to the Maxfield in this case, to the Englishman. I think he's got it.
Yep.
In terms of value, there's a whole bunch of value plays that I think are potential here. There's a whole lot of early speed. There's one, what I would say, deeper mid-pack closer who looks somewhat attractive, but less attractive knowing what's happening with the track right now, maybe for a 3rd place. But before I tell you who I like here in terms of value, why don't you guys let me know who you like?
Sean?
In terms of value, this is an interesting, I mean, I guess, I mean, if you want to, maybe Stop the Car. I mean, if he ran, I mean, Stop the Car has a win at Churchill Downs, and he ran it, and he won very convincingly. Tyler's back. I mean, can you throw any horse out with Brendan Walsh and Tyler Filion, for God's sakes? I'm saying, so if there's a horse that could maybe, like, you know, at least close, if everyone folds, Stop the Car could maybe be your long shot value in this race. But I think it's a 1-2 race. But that was the car. That was the car. Stop the Car is the horse that I had originally, that I was looking at as my 3rd horse. But when I looked at the early speed profile, he was the one I had furthest back. Yeah. And I'm not feeling it as much for Stop. What is going on here? Okay. Stop that car, please, by all means. Stop that other guy.
Stop that guy. The horse that, then I'll let Tim speak and see if he likes the same horse I do. But let me make sure I say this right. One More Freud, 245 days off, starting on the outside. But I do like a lot about this horse. He's hitting a lot of bells and whistles for me. He stays very close to the pace. Tonalist, Juan Hernandez getting up on the outside for this horse. I think that's one at 15-1 that could come and creep up on the outside, maybe for a 2nd or a 3rd. Tim, who did you like as a long shot here?
Yeah, it's not much of a long shot. I think that this race in particular, when you're looking at the Pat Day, I think it's fairly formful on a regular basis. So, as I say, I think the exact is kind of solid with Englishman and Crude Velocity, but the horse that I'm looking for as a potential for 3rd place is the number 8 Creole Chrome. Yeah, Joe Sharp and Irad.
Yeah.
And you know, the two of them together are 30% clip, but this horse has been working lights out. Joe Sharp is off to a really good start as far as his horses and how they're performing. Maybe not winning at the clip that they do at Keeneland, but they are finishing underneath with regularity as well. So, you know, he's 50% in the money, and this is a horse who looks like definitely he could fit in with this bunch. He was in that bluegrass, and he did set the early pace to lead for that big performance, leading up to the big performance by Further Ado.
Yeah.
He kind of faded a little bit there, but that's the only time that he has done that. And you know, that was the grade 1 bluegrass. So obviously, you know, it's a little bit different. And when you look at the rest of this field, other than you know, a couple of horses, no, being in grade 3s, nobody else has been in a grade 1. I just think that that was a much better field, which accounts for that performance. But when you look at how he's done in every other race he's been in, and hell, if Paco Lopez can get this one to the winner's circle, what can Irad do?
Yeah,
That's for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And Jonathan says DeVoe has a 60% win sprint to root. Yeah. Exactly. And the one thing I did not like about Creole, I was with you, Tim. Isn't that funny? That was the first one I went to, you know, for third. And I looked and said 58 and something, like 6 days before your race, and you run against these guys. How much is this horse going to have left down the stretch when he's, you know, when you're running 58 workout?
And you know, he is another one that's potentially towards the front end, but you're looking again. You've got Jose on the rail.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And you've got Irad on the 8, and it's just like, how many times have we seen it? You guys know that that it's one of my angles here at Churchill. I love it. It's like the Ortiz, you know, the Ortiz brother angle. And it's like you play both of them, with everybody in a trifecta, and then just cash big tickets.
Yeah, I've been looking for those ever since you mentioned it. And I'll type them into the chat every once in a while. Like, oh, I think we got a good one coming up here, Tim. And sometimes they pay. They pay well sometimes too.
Right.
All right, guys, I'm doing a time check here. I know it's 2:30 your time. Is that the quitting time that you had, or it's getting close to 2:30? I want to be mindful of your time because it's a big day for everyone. You got your own parties you're hosting, your own things going on. Yeah.
Well, we'll go into like 2:40.
I'll tell you what, the race 7 is coming up in 15 minutes.
We'll do that one. Yeah, we'll do that one. Yeah,
I would prefer to be off before the Pat Day. So let's do race 7. That'll take us halfway through the card, and then if anybody's got any questions about any of the races coming up, you're looking for opinions, we'll tell you what horses not to bet on, the ones we like.
Yeah, Donald, the amount of bets that are going into everyone's system today, Donald. Get your bets in 2-3 races early if you can. Because today is like folks, $88 million on Oaks Day yesterday. Beat it by 19%. That's what you're going up against today. You know. Yeah. The other thing, if I can just say it to the group, people, to keep this in mind for the Derby. Okay. The worst thing people can say, which is kind of true, is watch the races before to see how the track is playing. And that usually fits 95% of the time. Here's the problem where the Derby doesn't fit sometimes to the track, okay? In the Derby, you only have a quarter of a mile to get to the turn, okay? You have to establish position. If you don't establish position, you're going to get knocked way back and you could be knocked out of the thing. That is why the Derby is run faster than almost any race on the card, because it's 1.25 miles and the jockeys have no choice. They have to establish a position or they're going to get knocked out, possibly out of the race itself. So they're all going for position, their position that they think they have, right? Which almost guarantees a fast pace. In a mile race, a 7 furlong race or whatever, they can kind of go at their own leisure. You know what I'm saying, in terms of this stuff. But in this race, you only have a quarter, and all the jockeys have told me, you only have a quarter of a mile to get that established position. So you can't sit back and just say, oh, I'm going to wait until like halfway through the race. Because if you wait, you're going to be backed up to 18th, and your horse is going to be so far out, especially if you've lost the race already. A quarter in the race, and that is why you always see a fast pace more than likely in the Derby, because everyone has to get that position in their head. They're so fixated on it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Hey,
good
just
call.
to point out a couple of things here. I threw this up. Alex was asking for our picks for the Derby. So Alex, that's the way I'm approaching it. You can see I've got Commandment in second with the group, and then I'm going to also wheel Commandment in third with the same horses moving up to second. And Sean, Christine is wanting to know, what is your Derby super?
Hi, Christine. Yeah. So, okay. So I've a little hedged a little bit here. I'm going to throw Renegade in like the third and the fourth spot. You know what I'm saying? But my super will be I'm using Chief Wallaby on top. I think he's the best horse. I'm using Further Ado second. I think Johnny V will have the perfect trip for him. I'm using Commandment. What do you call it? Now and Renegade. And who's my fourth? I'm sorry, we've been talking about so many horses. Who's my other one here? I'll get it.
You got the Chief, you got Commandment, you got Renegade, and Further Ado.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So they're going to be my and Golden Tempo underneath.
Oh, Golden Tempo.
That's Golden Tempo. Yeah. So I'm going to have her. I'm going to have him underneath because I think if this race somehow does fall apart, Golden Tempo could maybe get up for third or fourth. I'm not saying he's going to win, but he could get up. He could get up somewhere in the third or fourth or hit the board. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm exactly the one post to me, if I'm wrong, I wouldn't be the first time. I'm putting Renegade in third and fourth in those spots. I'm not using them in the top two and just see what that's my.
So Sean, if I have it correct, there's your super 12 with 18 with 1-6-19 with 1-6-19.
Yeah. And if you like one of those other underneath, I can slide them up. You know what I'm saying? Especially on a 10-cent super. I could even use like 12 just over the four of them, and it wouldn't cost that much. You know what I'm saying? And just hope one of the Golden Tempo maybe gets up higher than I think, and I'm doing good. You know what I'm saying? But that wouldn't be a big cost.
You'll love Alex's comment here. He thinks Denon Bourbon might pull the upset.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
That's a good segue. So you're asking who our picks are, Alex, and I'm doing a trifecta key box.
Yeah.
Where my key is Further Ado because I feel like of the horses I'm picking, he is at least the safest. But if I'm playing a win bet, I'm playing Denon Bourbon. I honestly do think the film I've seen on this horse, and it's really difficult to match it up to what we see with some of these other horses. But man, he passes the eye test.
Yeah.
If you look at his race times, he passes the clock times. And I love his running style too, because he is either like right up there on the pace, but the last time out at Fukurayu, he rated, right? He stayed 1 to 2 lengths off. He was probably third or fourth position at first or second call. And then by the time they hit that turn, he said, enough of this, I'm taking over. And he blitzed for that finish line. By the time they hit that turn, I think they switched camera angles, and just switching camera angles made it look like he gained about a length within a split second. Like this is what we were talking about earlier, Tim. His turn of foot and the way he takes those turns, he's going to have to do it in the other direction. But if he can pull that off, he is going to be pretty dangerous. So
when they push the button on that horse, when if you go back to look at that Fukurayu, it's just like at the very end of that, he was already in front, and there was a point to where it was like the jockey asked, and even right before the wire, the acceleration right at the push the button. I mean, we use that expression a lot. He literally pushed the button on that horse, and he just had another gear that it's like he didn't even need that gear, and he still had it. And I'm not sure he was in his last gear.
Because he's a front runner, but then what he looks like down the stretch is what Renegade looks like down the stretch, and Renegade's been saving it up, and he's like tapping into other reserves and blitzing. So my top 4 though, so it's going to be between Further Ado and Denon Bourbon, but if I'm betting a win, it's going to be Denon Bourbon. Sorry, I said it wrong the first time. Denon Bourbon, and then I've got sprinkled in there. My next horse is, wow, why am I drawing a blank here?
You're looking at emerging market.
Emerging market, thank you. We've talked about all these other horses, barely talked about emerging market. Yeah, you know me. You've heard me say it already. Emerging market is my 3rd, and then I've got Patente as my 4th. And this is in my trifecta box. I do think that Patente could sneak up there. I really like emerging market. I like the horses that come out of the Louisiana Derby with a win. Didn't happen for me last year, but a couple years ago, it's been pretty fruitful with Epicenter and Angel of Empire. And he's a lightly raced horse too, who's just been answering every question so far.
So formula, do I have that right on the screen? Your trifecta key box is 18 with 7, 14, 15.
That looks good to me. Yep.
Now this is interesting, to throw a monkey wrench in everybody else's.
Don't do it.
ointment here, right? The whole key to this race, right, could actually be Wonder Dean, right? Because think of this. I'm just saying, right? Wonder Dean, right? Obviously, it could be a big one, right? And you got that Dan and Bourbon, right?
Yeah.
And nobody knows where are these horses going to be spotted. You know what I mean? Are we going to have like 4 years ago when that Japanese horse just decided to go out in 45 and even surprise the speed horse?
Summer of Tomorrow, I think it was.
Yeah. But I'm saying, is that right? Exactly. But he just went out and like absolutely blitzed like the track record for like a mile a quarter. You know what I'm saying?
I think he ran like a half at 44.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden, 6 Speed's looking over and like, wait a minute, who the heck are you? You're like, exactly.
If there's anyone who blitzes the track out of that group, it's going to be 6 Speed.
Right. But what I'm saying, but if like the other Japanese horse goes out, and then what happens is for the horses that run near the lead, just native horses want to run at other horses, you pull them up. Because their native instinct is, I want to go get them. I want to go get them. But the problem is,
I got to be on the lead. That's what I'm trained for.
Early, and then all of a sudden, the stalker's like, oh, now they've been pulled into it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying the Japanese horses. This is going to be interesting to see where they're positioned, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think the horse that I like here, Danon Bourbon. The fact that he rated in the Fukuryu last time leads me to believe that he will do what's best for him.
But I'm saying it's the other one. I'm saying it's the other one I'm worried about. I wonder if he'll just go to the lead.
But the UAE, if you watch Wonder Dean, he was far back. 6 Speed was setting the pace, and he was doing it like lengths and lengths ahead.
Yeah.
Wonder Dean sat in the back. But the other thing that I think is not selling me on Wonder Dean is that race. That race was actually pretty slow.
Very
overall.
Slow. Very slow.
I was shocked at the final time. I was shocked that because of the slow race, 6 Speed was not challenged on the lead at all. But I was even more perplexed that the only one who tried to come up and get him was Wonder Dean. Yeah. I mean, that race ended, and you look at the clock times, and it was somewhere in between Crown Pride and Admire Daytona. And that made me just want to chuck both horses immediately. I know it's one race.
The other thing is too, I'm not getting political here. I'm just saying this is reality, right?
Yeah.
What was going on in the Middle East? There was supposed to be 2 American horses that were going to run in the UAE that didn't go over because they didn't want to go over. So the field wasn't as strong because if the 2 American horses had gone, it would have been a much stronger 2 or 3 horses. It would have been a much stronger race. But because of what was going on, they didn't go over. So that race became much weaker than it was originally supposed to be. So I'm just keep that from a handicapping point. You know what I'm saying? The race was much weaker because they didn't come over for it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. So how many minutes we got until this? We got 4 minutes here.
4 minutes to post. Portfolio duration is your 5-2 favorite. I really like that horse here.
Me too.
I also like Classic Q. I've been thinking about just doing an exacta box in here with those 2, and then carrying those 2 with the 3-5-3-5 with a few horses underneath in my try format I love. But the 3-5 right now is paying 22-1, and the 5-3 is 26-1. The exacta probables right now have the favoritism at the 3-2 exacta. I like the 5 more than the 2. That's Tyler finishing underneath, but that one's paying 14-1. My point here is that I think you could play exactas here, key in the 3 on top with horses you like underneath, and they're paying really well. 14-1 is the lowest. Yeah. And if you like tries and want to dip into that, that's fine. But I think this is a great place to play some exactas. The prices are pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am playing a 3-4-9 trifecta box. Just open those 3, end up on top in any order, and I will cash the ticket if they do.
Yeah, I'm 3 over the 2, 5, and 8.
Uncle Sully, you think this is a Mercedes? Oh, you spoil me such.
Sully, you're mistaken as usual. The hat did not come out for Derby Day. The hat was Breeders' Cup.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That is right.
Okay.
Exactly. Right.
Let's get it straight, Sully.
Let's get it straight. Right. Exactly. We're gonna be right.
I do have the selection of hats. We could go with the hat back there. Everybody knows what that one is. I've got the Mill Ridge right there. Hey guys, right there. That's a Cinnaboya.
Yeah.
And then of course we got a Keeneland hat sitting right there. But if you look right there, that picture right behind me, that would be one Sovereignty finishing in front of the Kentucky Derby field last year, signed by Mr. Junior Alvarado himself.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh, right. I remember that. Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
That was a hell of a gift.
I have a Maker's Mark bottle of how they do the Derby bottles every year. I have last year's Derby bottle also signed by Mr. Junior Alvarado.
That's awesome. I have a funny story for you guys. You guys will laugh. Tim's the witness this, right? Exactly. So I'm wearing my Junior hat. As everyone knows, Junior and his family are some of my greatest friends in racing. So this is funny. So Tim gets to meet Junior, right? Junior gives me a big hug, and I show him the picture. I said, "Hey, guess what I got in the mail?" I said, "Right before I'm leaving," I said, "Your hat comes, right?" He goes, "That's awesome. I've gotten my hat. How did you get your hat before me?" So Junior hadn't even gotten his hat yet. Exactly. So I said,
that's
Kelly. I
rich.
said, "Kelly, you got me in trouble."
Be like, your wife gave it to me. Talk to her.
Exactly. You got me in trouble, buddy. I said, your husband didn't even have his hat yet.
Ouch.
That was pretty
great.
funny.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys, we are crossing over onto the turf.
Here we go.
Last chance to get your questions in if you've got any. We'll be cutting out for the day after this race.
Yes.
But once again, if you have some looking for our thoughts on any of the Derby horses, go to the channel. Make sure you drop down below and subscribe. Then go into your subscriptions. Look at the channel, and we have our spotlight videos for the vast majority, all of the real contenders in here. So go check that out. If you're wondering our thoughts on a horse, that's the best way to get them.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are off.
We are off.
Pretty even break. And the one horse from the inside, there goes Jose, as we suspected. The 5 coming up outside that one. The 7 also starting to make a move here. And as we head to the turn, it is going to be Jose inside and Johnny V outside. Those two take the turn and head onto the back stretch. It is going to be Jose with about a length. The 5 horses sitting right there. Classic Q in second. It's another couple of links back to Portfolio Duration. And I was thinking of the next race. I don't know why I said Jose. But anyway, Italian Soiree and Classic Q. Portfolio Duration. That's the one we want. That's back on the rail, coming up, moving up into good position, but going to have to find a trip as they go to the quarter. 24 and 1. Classic Q still right there on the outside, putting a neck in front. Italian Soiree starting to mail it in. Here comes Temptable on the outside, getting a move. Italian Soiree looking to not get in the way of our 3. We need that 3 to get through as we head behind all the tents, and we couldn't see anything. Classic Q is now still right there. The 4 horse moving up outside, down inside. You got the 7 still hanging on. The 3 has got lots of work to do. Portfolio Duration just getting into gear. Gonna have to come on. You've got Classic Q right there. Here comes the 3. The 8 closing late, and the 7 is right there. It's going to be 5, 3, 8, and 7.
So
Winner, chicken dinner. I'll take the
winner. Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Everybody gets the exactas. The 2/3.
I gotta say, hammer that 5-3, and we got it the good way. The 5-3 is paying 25
yes, we did.
to 1.
Yes,
I said hammer the
job,
3
guys.
back to box.
Love that. Yep.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Well done.
Did the 8 get 4th?
The 8 got 3rd, I think. So
I mean, 8 got 3rd. Okay. Yeah. So it's 5, 3,
5, 3, 8.
Oh, was it 2?
Winner.
Was it 2? Oh, the 2 didn't get up.
5, 3, 8, 7.
5, 3, 8, 7. Okay. Darn it.
Yeah, we'll take that.
We'll take that all day. Right in the on top.
Love
What
it.
a
Love
year
it.
Marcase's had.
But here's another thing. Once again, guys, the reason that I like the 5 so much over the 3,
Yeah.
speed.
Speed,
Yeah.
yeah. Speed,
I forgot to look at that.
And that was the difference. That was the difference in the
Speed
race.
under.
Yeah, the 5 was going to be in front with Johnny V,
Mhm.
just like he's going to be in race 12 later on. Johnny V,
Yep.
just taking him to the wire.
Yeah.
And what's that exacta payout?
It was 25-1, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Ooh,
Yeah.
25-1.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. 30 to 1.
Guys, smart.
No, 30 to 1, bud. $60. No, 5-8 or 5. Yeah, 30, right?
5-3, 25-59.
23. Okay, 23 went down.
Yeah, so
Tim-
I've got
Tim killed
25-59, and
Tim
I've
killed
got
it.
I've
It
got
was
a $5
25 until
so I've got it
Tim
5
bet.
times. We'll take it. We'll take that 5 times.
Take that one to
Exactly.
the bank.
Exactly.
All right, Greg trailed it along. Good job, Greg.
Great job, buddy.
Way to go.
Good job, Worm. Boom. Love it. Great job, Greg Anderson.
What's up, Jamie?
Exactly. Great to see you, Jamie. Well, that was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes,
Guys,
and good luck to
that was
everybody
incredible.
out there. Wish we could be on a little bit longer with you, but you got some parties and stuff
Nice.
to go to. But oh, look at that.
It's Derby
Nice
day.
job.
What can you do?
Kyle
Yeah,
Graves,
good call.
beautiful. Now you're all ready for the Derby. You got some extra money for the Derby. You're coming in on a hot streak. There we go. Now
I
we'll
got
just
the
say
book.
go
I'm
in
ready.
and horses.
I got the ribs on the smoker, everything else ready to go. It's like
There you go. By the way, look out for my boy again. Test score. Graham said he's really looking good. I'm saying that must use in the turf. He's in again. He's looking really good. Oh, thank you, Gosper.
Gosper down under.
Awesome. Good to see you, bud. Someone asked about a cocktail lounge this Thursday. I think we'll probably have to talk about that unless you guys
There could
know
be,
that you
yeah.
can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're ready to get back at it. We've been kind of waiting for Woodbine to get going.
yeah, exactly. And They'll be back soon. Exactly. We'll be back soon too. So with
Good
the
luck,
Derby and
Shelley.
everything, getting everything ready and everything, it's been exactly. These guys have done an amazing job. So
Exacted try and super. Way to go, Greg.
yeah, way to
Smoking
go.
hot.
Love to
Well
see
done.
it. Love to see it.
All right, everyone.
Love to see it. Love to see it. See it.
We'll see you guys in the chat.
Yeah, see you guys.